Well, today I have an ultimate guest of honor, the ultimate guest of honor, and that is my husband. Y'all, this is such a long time coming, but it's all in God's timing. I don't even know how to introduce this man other than I love him so much. He is an incredible husband. He is an incredible father. And he is truly a born again child of God, which is never something in 100,000 years that I thought I would ever be saying. And you're going to hear all about that, how we got where we are, how he got where he is. And without further ado, let me just bring him right on. It's my husband, Mike.
Hi, my name's Mike, and I'm on the Heaven and Healing podcast in front of it.
You are in front of the camera,
Yeah.
and everyone's really excited to hear about how you came to saving faith in our Lord Jesus Christ. Let's just get right into it because I know we're going to be talking for a long time and there's so much ground to cover. I don't even know if we can possibly get to everything that we have been through up until this point, but we're going to try our best. So let's start from the beginning. Michael Scafidi was born September 20th, 1992. Do you have anything to contribute, I guess, starting with your upbringing? Like, were you raised in the faith? Did you have any sort of religious background, any understanding of who Jesus was growing up? What was that like?
I mean, this is so funny being on here. Um, Not really. I mean, I think most of my family is Catholic. So, like, my mom is Catholic. My most of like my dad's side, I guess, are Catholic, and they would try to bring me to church when I was younger, but it wasn't really my cup of tea. I remember many times I would just like cry like a crazy kid, and like they would have to take me out of the church because I was just acting a fool. So other than that, like not really much of an upbringing in the church. My mom is probably the most Christian of anyone in my family, if I could just like pinpoint one person. And she's Catholic, practicing Catholic. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I was very absent from all of it.
Well, we don't have to spend too much time in childhood because you already know how I feel about doing that. I think sometimes people spend way too much, like 25, 30 minutes in the testimony portion of the childhood portion of the testimony and not enough on like the coming to Jesus moment. So we won't do that. But if you could just give everyone just, I don't know, even a vague illustration of what your upbringing was like with your mom and your dad and all the things that I know already.
Yeah.
It's hard to ask questions when I know all the answers.
Right. I know. So yeah, my upbringing was kind of weird, I guess. Very, very like unorganized, a little chaotic. So my mom and dad divorced really early in my life. I want to say around like 2 years old or so. It might have even been before that, but like the number two kind of stands out for me. Um, so it was a really weird kind of dynamic between my mom and my dad. To be completely honest, I can't even imagine them as like a couple
Hmm.
because they were so completely opposite, at least in my understanding of their relationship. Like the only real I guess memory I have of the two of them has always been just like chaotic and sort of just like torn apart. Um and like one of the first memories I remember, and like sorry mom, sorry dad, but just spilling it out here. One of the first memories I remember is actually them sort of fighting over me, and I was really young, and I was like locked in the bathroom with my mom, and I don't really know exactly what was going on. I'm sure there was like alcohol and drugs involved. And again, just to remind everybody watching or listening, this is like ages ago. So my mom and my dad are totally different now, but back then it was a lot of drugs, a lot of alcohol, a lot of violence, domestic violence, abuse, things like that. And I was locked in the bathroom with my mom. She was trying to keep me from my dad. And my dad, I think, was trying to get me back for whatever reason, probably because there were drugs like
Mm.
taking place in the vicinity of baby. And yeah, I remember there was one instance where they were actually pulling on both of my arms, like my mom on my left arm, my dad on my right arm, literally pulling me like I'm like tug of war, trying to fight over me and stuff. And that's like one of the craziest memories I have, of just the two of them sort of like fighting over custody of me, I guess.
Mhm.
So yeah, I don't know if that answers your question, but
Well, I think it's good that obviously I know everything, so I can kind of like fill in gaps and make sense of things where whatever. It's just what this lays the foundation of is how you really never had any safety growing up, and I think that's important, especially later in like understanding even how significant it is that you came around to the idea of like a heavenly father at all,
yeah, yeah,
because you didn't really know, what true like parental love should have been. And that's not anything against your mom or dad. Like you said, they're so different now than they were then. But this is just like your experience. Like
right,
this is just what you went through. And so,
yeah.
yeah, fast forward a little bit, just give like tidbits of what between that time and let's go up until like, I don't know, high school.
Oof.
What did that space look like?
So there's like a lot.
Yeah.
So I'll try my best to condense it. Um, it's it's
Well, the
definitely
theme of alcohol, violence, and drugs continued. The theme of domestic dispute and being between mom and dad, that continued all throughout your adolescence, right?
yeah, like 100%. Growing up was weird because, I was with my dad most of the time. He did ultimately get like I guess it was like majority custody.
Mm,
It wasn't full custody. Like I knew that I was allowed to go to see my mom maybe like on certain holidays or whatever.
mm.
But I didn't really. I just kind of like stayed with my dad because he did really parent me the majority of my childhood. But I did eventually want to get connected with my mom again. I mean, there was always that need to have mom and dad.
Yeah.
Um, and there were a few instances where I would have that chance to go with my mom, maybe just for like a weekend or something like that. And it was always kind of weird because like being with my mom almost felt like a vacation in a
Mm.
weird way.
Wow. Yeah.
Like I'm with my dad most of the time, and then I get to see my mom. It's a vacation, but like I mean that like in like in the sense that it's a vacation, so there's really no rules.
Yeah. Not like it was relaxing.
It wasn't so much relaxing as it was like I know I'm here. I get to kind of be with my mom and my brother,
Mm.
um, but there's really no rules. Like it's sort of just like a free for all. Like whatever happens, happens. You never know what's going to happen. And like I don't know exactly where to go with this because I could just I c-
Just
I
keep
could
going. I'll stop
hit
you.
all of the crazy
You're not
marks.
my first interview, sweetheart.
Whatever, dude. um so the weird thing was, and this is no shade at her because like she did do her best. Um but like we were so kind of disconnected and I was with my dad most of the time that it's like I was almost like a stranger in a sense.
Mm.
At least that's the way that it felt.
Did she have your brother all the time, or was he between parents too?
Dude, I don't know,
You don't
man.
even know.
It,
Yeah,
it's
because for the record, their parents, his brother is different dad, right?
yeah,
So
different father.
so you don't know if he was with your mom all the
I
time.
mean, I know he was with my mom like growing up, obviously, but that's like a whole different story. Like my
Yeah.
brother, like the same cycle,
Yeah.
drugs, alcohol,
And
violence,
he exposed you to a lot of
all
that
that's
when you were
up.
with him.
Yeah, a lot of it,
Yeah.
and honestly, majority of it was on my mom's side, you know, with either the boyfriends or like just the exes that she was around, or just my brother in general, who was
How
like,
much older is he than you?
I want to say he's like I could be butchering this, but he might be like 15 years older.
10 to 15-ish.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't really know, honestly. It's kind of a blur. And our relationship is like super distant right
Mm-hmm.
now. So I don't even remember the last time I really spoke to my brother. Uh, I forget what I was saying.
Well, we were just talking about how when you were with your mom, you felt kind of estranged.
Right. Yeah, so she would try to be mom, you know, but she didn't really know me. She didn't know my personality as much because I'm living with my
Mm-hmm.
dad most of the time. So she would do her best, but it never quite like landed. Um, and it was usually just like kind of weird because of her boyfriends at the time, or like my brother doing his stuff,
Mm-hmm.
or bringing like just weird people around, things of that nature. There was always the element of like drugs or alcohol, and like even though I was younger, I recognized that. um
Did you start to get into trouble around? Because I know you started to get in trouble at some point. Was that with your brother and mom, or was that with your dad?
so the first joint that I ever smoked was from my brother,
Okay, that tracks.
but he never forced it on me or anything like that. I will give him that.
Yeah.
I mean, like he put me in some, weird situations. But I guess when you're around it enough, you get curious about it yourself. And that's kind of what happened with me. Like I knew he had it. I knew everyone was like kind of doing it around
Did you
me.
look up to him?
Yeah. He's your older brother.
Yeah.
Granted, he did like beat the crap out of me a lot. Um, like there were a few instances where like, it's like the brotherly thing, like you beat the crap out of your younger brother type thing. Like that is I think it is at least a normal situation where the older brother just kind of pounds on the younger brother.
Well, normal doesn't necessarily mean healthy or
Right.
good. So,
But there were some cases where he would like really like,
yeah.
lay it in, and I'm like, dude, you're like kind of kicking my butt right now. Um, but I did always look up to him. I always liked the idea of, an older brother.
Yeah.
But it was never really quite the relationship that,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Because he had his own trauma, his own demons, and honestly, still does.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, looking back, he was most likely like 95% of the time drugged out.
Probably never sober with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he would have little pockets of sobriety, but I think for the most part, he was usually really high on pills, like maybe like Xanax, Percocet. He smoked crack, cocaine,
And
marijuana,
he
alcohol.
did take you into some pretty sketchy situations too, like
Yeah.
deep into Philly.
Oh
And
yeah. Like some neighborhoods that he would bring me into. I mean, they were like the projects. He would bring me into some really like sketchy places where,
and you're
just
like 10.
I'm 10. Like there was one situation where it was really cold out, and I just wanted to be with my brother. Like I just wanted to hang out with him. So when you want to hang out with your brother and you want to just like go where he's going, right? He was like the closest thing to a friend that I had when I was with my mom. So I would just hang
Mm.
out with him. And sometimes that meant going into like the sketchiest parts of the city.
Mm.
Like we would go into Southwest Philly, we would go into like Strawberry Mansion type areas, and if you're from Philly, then you know what that is.
I actually don't know what that
We would go
means.
into some pretty sketchy parts of Harrisburg. I mean, and when you're so just let me paint the picture for you, for anybody that's watching. My brother is like probably 6 foot, maybe 6'2". Um, like not like super skinny, like kind of has like a little muscular build, and like white dude, always wears a baseball cap, walking around in Philly asking where he can cop drugs. Like everyone always thought he was like an undercover cop,
Mm.
or like trying to sting somebody or bust
Mm.
somebody, right? So for that reason, like he was usually like scoped out pretty easy. Like people would look at him and just think like, all right, well, we're gonna either mug this dude or we're just gonna give him like dirt, and that'll be the end of that type thing, right? But there was one night in particular we went out, and he was staying in like some sort of like basement of someone's house in Philly, like some row home.
Yeah.
Couldn't get upstairs because it was locked, and he left. He ended up leaving, and it's like pouring out. It's cold. and I don't know where he is. I'm assuming he's just out doing drugs. And I get really sick, like suddenly out of nowhere. Like I wasn't feeling too great to begin with, but I didn't really want to go anywhere else but hang out with my brother. And then he left for like hours, and it turns out I had pneumonia,
Wow.
and I'm like throwing up in the bathroom. I'm feeling super feverish, and I don't know what to do. I have no clue what I'm gonna do. I don't have a phone. Um, I try to go up to the stairs and open the door, and it's locked because somebody like lives up there, I guess. And I guess they're not going to answer the door for just somebody downstairs. And I can't leave because I don't know where I am. Like,
Mm-hmm.
where am I going to walk to, especially when it's like raining out and it's cold out? And I get like super sick. And I genuinely don't remember what happened next because I was younger. Um, Looking back, I just know that eventually I did end up with my dad again, and he brought me to a doctor, and
Mm-hmm.
turns out it was pneumonia. Um, yeah, I had to get like all kinds of like
Yeah.
antibiotics, inhaler, things like that, monitor that. So
And I know that's like kind of like a pattern. We don't obviously have like time to go through every story you've ever told me of like things that situations you've been put in, but I know that there is a pattern of like those times you were with your mom,
yeah,
like dad ends up coming to the rescue in some capacity. But
right,
I know you had problems with your dad too, though. So can you just like give an overview of what that was like with him?
yeah. So dad, um, dad was pretty tough. He was definitely the type, and I will also say that growing up in just the types of atmospheres that I was in, and like with the back and forth type stuff and being surrounded by so many different like negative elements,
Yeah.
eventually I like just turned into a brat. Like
Yeah.
I
Okay.
knew I was a bad kid.
Well, you were, I'm all into this stuff because we have a child. What you were doing is you were communicating unmet needs.
Yeah.
That's what children do. It's not that you were actually lashing out, it's that you were communicating with an underdeveloped brain and expressing unmet needs, and
Yeah.
that's just how kids are. So
Yeah.
you weren't a bad kid, you were just like,
Crying out for help.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he was tough. Um, he was like old school. So he would just like beat the hell out of you if you did the wrong thing, you know? Like
And
very
eventually you started
South Philly old school like parenting. Like if you do the wrong thing,
Italian also.
and Italian, if you do the wrong thing, I'm taking the belt off and I'm beating you. Like
Yeah.
I'm beating you. So
And eventually you started putting your hands on him too, like
I,
when you got bigger.
I did eventually. And you know, this is actually going into high school now.
Right, because this is kind of the turning point of when you ended up with your mom,
Right.
right?
Right.
So
It
yeah.
was just like I'm tired of dealing with like the strict rules,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I don't think he thought he was doing the wrong thing. I just think he thought like I'm going to lay down the law like every time
This
you
is what
do
being a
something
man
wrong.
is. I have to make you a man, kind of
Right.
thing.
But like it felt deeper than that. It felt like you're frustrated and like I'm going to just lay down the law harder and harder and
Mm,
harder until eventually it's like, all right, well, dude, I'm not going to like let you beat me up anymore, right?
yeah.
So you know, I'm still doing my bad stuff. I'm with the wrong crowd. I linked up with this one girl, and she was just like, "Do you want to come hang out?" I was like, "Sure." So got in her car. Don't know where I'm going, but we went to this like really sketchy part of Philly, and it was like an alleyway, kind of like house thing. I don't even know how it was in the alleyway, and it was a random door that led to like a one room sketch
Sounds like a
fest,
dungeon.
basically.
Stoner dungeon.
And everyone's like doing drugs in there and smoking, and I'm just like, cool, this is fun. So um, they're passing like all these things around, and one of them hands me like the gas mask, and I put the gas mask on, and they're lighting it, and I'm just like, well, let's just go crazy. And turns out that was laced
Mm.
with what I have no clue, but I
Wow.
remember um like time didn't even matter anymore. It was just like this weird blissful state,
Mm.
not even just like normal like high.
Hi. Yeah.
It
Something
was like
else.
something else.
So you ended up like missing curfew, right?
I'm well beyond
Yeah.
curfew.
That's
At this point, like I don't even know what time it is anymore. I'm just completely obliterated on something that's completely laced up with whatever.
yeah.
And I remember her driving me home, and I just like looked out the window, and I think I'm like tripping at this point because like I remember I was making weird faces in the reflection of the window on the
Mm.
way home. And then she drops me off at home, and my dad is outside with the cops. He comes up to me, I get out of the car, I walk up to him, and he's like freaking out. He's screaming at me. And the cops are there, and I remember like I was so out of my mind that I just like fell down on the ground in front of the cop. My keys like were on the side, and they scratched the cop car going down, and the cop like picked me back up. And basically, my dad was just like, "Go inside. We're gonna talk or whatever." I don't remember what happened after that. I was so gone,
Mm.
but I do remember that that was kind of like his final straw. He was
Mm.
just like, "You can go to your mom's. I don't want you living here anymore." So I was like, "Okay, I'd rather actually go there anyway, because this place
Because you
sucks."
were sick of the rules. You were
I was
sick
sick of
of
the
like,
rules. I was sick of getting beat down.
yeah.
I didn't like his like wife at the time, or I don't even remember if they were still together or not. But I just didn't like it. I'm leaving out a lot
And yeah,
here, but
yeah,
he would like go out all night sometimes, and I wouldn't even know where he was.
yeah.
And I would have to call my uncle and be like, "Hey, have you heard from my
And
dad?"
alcohol was definitely a
And he would
thing
tell me, "Oh, he
with
got
your
pulled
dad.
over for DUI in
Yeah.
Atlantic City."
Yeah,
He's
right.
in Atlantic City, and I'm home alone.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I don't even know what's going on anymore. It's just craziness.
So now you're like 14. So at this point now you're doing drugs and you're drinking and like you're involved in all that cuz that's just like what you were doing.
Yeah,
Cuz
I'm not drinking so much. I'm actually just doing drugs.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alcohol,
Didn't come till later.
we'll get into that for
Sure, yeah.
sure. But alcohol didn't become like the vice that it was for me until we started working at that cafe.
Okay. So I
Um,
didn't know that. Okay. So, but you are smoking weed and you were like smoking cigarettes too, I think, when I
yeah, I
met
was
you.
smoking cigarettes, I was smoking weed.
Yeah.
And that was kind of mostly what I was doing. Um,
Then, okay. So now we're in high school. So now you move with your mom.
moving with my mom.
And this is when you start going to the same high school that I started going to. So I was a freshman and you were a sophomore.
Yeah.
And so there's just like a very, I don't know, still, it was still 20 minutes anyway, but that's totally fine. It's just like there's like an illustration, Mike's upbringing, just chaos and violence and drugs and instability and like no true safety and just like a movie. The stories you tell me are like movies.
Yeah.
Like complete insanity.
Yeah.
And it's even a miracle. And we talk about this a lot. It's a miracle you're even like alive at this point because of the situations you were in, because of the stuff that you had been through. Um,
Yeah, there's a lot.
just a lot. It's a
There's a lot
miracle you
that we
didn't
don't
end up
even
like your
have
brother
time.
even at that point.
Yeah.
Like,
There's a lot that I don't even have time to really get into
yeah.
with you,
So
but
just a lot.
most of this stuff. And
Um,
eventually like I'll get into that stuff down the line, but
so do you want to talk about when we met?
sure. So, it's kind of funny cuz I look back at it and I'm just like it's like being a bad kid led me to you.
Yeah,
Which
it's
is kind of weird
crazy. All the crooked
like in
lines.
retrospect, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I remember I've always been like kind of creative, and I wanted to take an art class. So we start at Upper Moreland High School where we met, and art class started. And I think I was just being kind of like a pain in the butt. Like I was always the class clown. That was just like my personality. Every class I was ever in, I was usually acting out.
Mm-hmm.
I would either get sent to the back of the room,
Again,
um,
unmet needs.
or the front of the room, whatever it was like the most punishing. I had counselors my whole life, psychiatrists, all of the things.
Yeah.
So like I just was always doing bad things, and I guess I did something bad in the art class, and the teacher moved me to the back of the room.
Where I was by choice
Where were you?
to hide.
Where you were by choice, and
That's
yeah,
funny.
I think we just kind of like talked a little bit,
Yeah.
nothing crazy, but I do remember like towards the end of the class, you told me like the stupidest joke.
What does a gay horse eat?
Hey.
It's like
And I died. I thought that was so funny. I never heard that joke before. And it's like such a silly joke,
it's
and
just a
it's probably
stupid high
so
school
old now,
thing.
but
Yeah.
yeah, back then it was funny. And I was like, all right, that's her. That's the girl.
That's how I won you over.
Yeah. And
Man.
that was a
Did you think I
fun
was
time.
pretty?
Yeah, I thought you were pretty. Yeah.
Like, you know.
Yeah, I thought you were interesting. There you'll argue this left and right, nonstop over and over again, but one of the first few times I saw you, I remember you were crying.
I don't have a memory of it, but it doesn't surprise me.
Guys, she
I
was
was crying all
crying
the
so
time.
much, and I just like wanted to make it better.
In my
And you know
Twilight
what? Like
shirt.
you can say you weren't crying, but I remember you were wearing your Twilight shirt. You had your weird beaded necklace on. Like I remember it perfectly. So like that's you can't just make that up.
Yeah.
So yeah, I always wanted to just like make you feel better.
Yeah.
So
So we met and yeah, I was like kind of interested in you, but like
I
you
don't
weren't
think you really
really my
were.
type. Well, I thought you had a cute face,
Yeah.
but you were not my type. You were like wearing Timberlands and like baggy jeans, and you got this like hoodie with like barbed wire all over it, and you
Dog,
got like a buzz cut,
that
like
was
you
my
came out of
thug
jail.
era.
You looked like a thug,
That was my thug
and
era.
you like listened to Lil Wayne.
Every day.
Like you were just not my type. I was like into like all time low boys.
Yeah,
Like
and I
that
was
was
listening to like 50 Cent, The Game, Lil Wayne,
yeah.
all those
But you
people.
did have a very cute face, I thought. So I'm like, I don't know about this guy,
Mm.
but you were really sweet to me and you did make me laugh. And we did start dating eventually. You know, I did the whole
Loosely. Like our dating was so
well,
weird,
it
I
was just a
think.
lot of on and off. But at
Yeah.
first, I was committed when me and my internet. So, guys, I don't know if I've even shared this, but I did a lot of like internet dating before internet dating was cool, back when it was like super dangerous, actually. And I did get catfished. So the person that catfished me, we broke up for the first time, and that's when I started dating Mike. And so because I was like in an internet relationship, obviously it was never like intimate with anybody. So Mike was actually my first kiss. And
Hey.
tasted like cigarettes. that's how I know you smoke cigarettes
I'm
at the
sorry.
time.
I'm pretty sure you just like tasted like strawberries or something, and I'm just like ash.
It was a high school library, but yeah. Yeah, and then it was just like a lot of like on again, off again stuff in high school because I was a mess, honestly. But I don't know, do you feel like led to talk about kind of your transition, how you started to change as a person when you met me?
Yes, I guess I don't know really how to share it, but I think I just found your MySpace
Yeah.
because these were the MySpace days.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Facebook was barely on the scene yet.
Mhm.
I mean, we were using AOL Instant Messenger, so
Yep.
you know. But I got your MySpace, and the first song I heard play on your MySpace was the first time I ever heard this genre in general, and that was 30 Days to Christmas by Never Shout Never. And I was just like, oh, so this girl's into like this kind of thing? That's kind of
It's
weird.
like indie
That's kind
folk,
of different.
pop
And
punk.
then I just started going, and then I went on LimeWire and I started downloading all of the Never Shout Never music. And then I found out that you were into All Time Low, and I didn't really like know them, but
Mhm.
I listened to a few of their songs, and I basically just started transitioning because I was like, dang, I I really like this girl, and I gotta like know some of the things that she knows. So I started listening to that music, and like it was really weird, and I didn't really like it too much, but I just kind of would say like, yeah, listen to that Dear Maria song. Hey. So
And
yeah.
then you grew your hair out and
Grew
you
my hair
started
out
dressing
eventually.
different. I remember you
Yeah.
got highlights
I
at
did get
one point.
highlights. Man, Angela, come on. You were throwing me under the bus, girl.
They want to
Yeah.
know. I know they want to know about our past. Because,
Yeah.
well, it's important too. It's important to know, like, that people ask me all the time how we met and, like,
Mm.
it's like we literally met when we were, like, babies. And
Yeah.
at this point, we've known each other longer than we haven't known each other.
Yeah,
Like, I
that's
was
true.
14, you were, like, 15,
Yeah.
went through the growing pains of just that. Like, you think you're so old when you're in high school, but you were, like, an infant.
Right.
And so we went through all those growing pains together. And there was a lot. Like, we went through a lot of garbage. And again, it
Yeah.
was really a lot because I was a mess. Like, I really was.
It was also like the first time that I really encountered like love. Like
Yeah,
I
and that
never
scared
fell
me a
in
lot.
love with somebody before. Like I loved like my parents, you know what I mean, type
Hmm.
thing, but I never like fell in love with somebody or at least like felt the feelings that I felt for you. So,
Yeah, you knew right away.
I just
And I was like, this is terrifying. Get away from me. I'd rather take the catfish. God.
yeah,
Oh,
but
it's
it's all right
crazy.
cuz it was like worth it. I wanted to not give up on it because I like knew what I had.
Yeah.
So, I was like, okay, like we're just going to keep on pressing through.
Yeah.
Um
You did fall into this pattern though, where, like, when things would go awry, you would go to, like, the first girl that was, like, always kind of
yeah.
waiting for us to fall apart.
Yeah, and I didn't really want that,
Yeah.
but like with this like I guess newfound thing, it just like hurts so bad to lose it that I was like I need to fill this quickly or I'm going to like explode.
Yeah.
So, that did eventually, lead me into some like weird relationships. I mean, I've been with um 4 people
Hmm.
my whole life. Right. I was never like even that to me personally is a
Yeah.
lot for me. Like
Yeah.
I don't believe in like the sleep around culture. I never did.
Yeah.
I
You
don't
really
I
didn't.
don't believe
You
that
were always like,
like dating culture. I don't like any of that stuff. I was always just like I want to like love somebody.
because you never were.
So, I guess.
I mean, really, like,
Yeah. So, I just wanted like the real thing. So I never really messed around, other than those few times when you and I would split up. Um, and that was always painful.
yeah.
It was always so painful. Like, and I know it was for you too. It's not just like a like dump the person and like everything's hunky dory.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, we both went through it.
Mm.
And I think like a lot of it too, like was influenced by music and
Oh my gosh, so much.
like the music that we listened to was so like angsty and like negative and like
Mm-hmm.
talked about like ending your life and things like that. Like we would
Remember
get
that one
back at each
song was
other.
like
We
that
would
I
get
used to
back at
listen
each
to?
other by like sending each other
Oh yeah,
terrible
terrible
songs.
music,
Like
like really sad songs.
what's the one song that you sent me? That was like
Candles by Hey Monday.
yeah, dude, that wrecked
Blow the
me.
candles
That
out.
wrecked me. I remember. Like we didn't know how to like really communicate our feelings.
Yeah,
So we would send like each other
sad
music that we
songs.
thought communicated it
And
for
like,
us, but it
oh
was
yeah,
like
that's
devastating.
true. I forgot that we did that. We
Yeah.
did that back and forth. And then of course like the MySpace song.
Yeah. MySpace songs and
I remember you had that like F what you said, it don't mean
oh
no,
yeah.
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 F the presents might as it was like F
Yeah.
you, you ho, I don't want you back. And I'm like,
Okie dokie. So this guy doesn't like me as much. Yeah.
yeah, that's just what we did. But
It's just
yeah,
what we
that's
did.
true. Well, we went through a lot in high school. I don't really know how much we should get into, but that's just kind of the gist of it. It was just like a lot of back and forth, but it was always like we always came back together because I mean, there's probably a soul tie, there was definitely codependency, but there was also like at the end of the day, like our relationship of every relationship we were involved in was the healthiest, even if it was unhealthy in its own way,
Oh yeah.
which it was.
Yeah.
Um,
No, my like fallbacks, if you would want to call it
yeah.
that, were like toxic. I
Oh,
mean, we weren't,
absolutely.
you and I, when we would have
God
like
bless them, but
we would have our weird moments and like our not so great things. But like the people I fell back on were like usually
they were bad
very
girls.
unhealthy.
Like they were bad girls.
Yeah.
And I was never like that.
Yeah.
I was
They
like,
were like the opposite of you,
yeah,
like the total opposite of you.
yeah.
I mean, there was one girl that like almost was like later on in our relationship, and like the split between the two of
She
you
tried
or
to
the
be
two of
me.
us. Like we were like getting like to that point where it's like, okay, I think like Angela and I are probably done.
Yeah.
So and I thought that that was actually going
That was the
somewhere.
scariest one.
It ended up not happening.
Well, we could
Nothing ended
talk
up
maybe
happening.
about that a little bit too. So
Yeah.
what happens? So now, okay, so at this point, let's get time like did you have in high school any spiritual framework? Because I didn't.
No, zero.
Yeah, okay. So
No.
there's just that.
I didn't have
That was never a thing. There was
no.
never even a thought for either of us,
No.
right? And then
I'm sorry, my whole like just personality trait in high school was get high, skip class, and like just be a reckless menace. That was it.
yeah.
That's all I wanted to do.
And buy Angela an expensive necklace that she would later pawn when you broke up. I wish I
Man,
still
that
had
was
that
the
necklace.
first piece of jewelry I ever bought
I'm
someone.
sorry. I
It's
wish I still
okay.
had it.
No, it's all
I'm gonna give it
whatever.
to
It's
Sayla. I
cool. I
can't
don't
do that.
care.
Anyway,
I don't care.
so then whatever. We go through a really bad. This is like fast forward. High school's over. You moved a bunch of times with because when you did live with your mom, she was still there was still a lot of instability, so she still moved a lot. And so she moves you like up to Hershey. So we break up again. And then you come back down. You live with your grandma for a little. We didn't even talk about your grandma. Do you want to talk about your grandma?
I can talk about her.
Let's talk.
I'll probably cry.
Let's just paint a little bit of a picture because this is important, like a little bit down the line. So, because this is the kindness of God, really, is that like He will put people in your life
Yeah.
even when you're like living so far from Him,
Mm.
because He just loves you.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, like, I think like they were like angels in your life, your grandmom and grandpop. So can you just really quick, just who's grandmom and grandpop to you?
This is a little confusing,
Yeah.
but I'll try my best to explain it. So, like, obviously, my dad's side, I had grandma and grandpa. Mom's side, grandma and grandpa. But throughout my entire life, because my dad was single and taking care of me, he worked full time.
Right.
Like when I was living with him in the beginning, we were living in like some guy named Jim's house. And I mean like in his bedroom.
Yeah.
This dude had a house and we lived in a bedroom. And my dad and I slept in the same bed. But like we didn't have money.
Mm-hmm.
Um
So the point is he didn't have like a babysitter, so he brought you
no
to work.
babysitters,
Yeah.
anything like that. So I would like basically live at work with my
Yeah.
dad. And he worked at a jewelry store down on like Bustleton Avenue in Philly. And you know, I would just run around all day and have nothing to do. And he was asking around, like, you know, some of his coworkers one day, like, I need somebody to watch my son. You know anybody that could watch him? And one of the watch repairmen, his name was Andy, pretty much stepped up to the plate and was like, hey, if you ever need somebody to watch Michael, my wife and I can watch him for you. Like, he's always here. They've gotten to know me and everything like that. So they were fine with it. And I don't even think they accepted payment. I think my dad told them like, hey, I don't have much to give. I think they just started watching me for free. Like
Mm-hmm.
they just loved me.
Yeah.
Um,
Because she couldn't have kids, right?
yeah. So Andy's wife couldn't have kids, or at least they tried and they just never succeeded.
Mm-hmm.
So they kind of like took me on as their own. You know, I would go to their house and they would watch me, take care of me. They would always buy me toys to play with. And honestly, they kind of were the ones in my life who taught me like morals and like taught me how
Yeah.
to be respectful. Like they put up with me. I will say that. Like I was still the bad kid, like, and I was acting out, but they really taught me like how to be respectful.
They were good people.
Like
Right.
they would do their absolute best to tell me why the things I was doing were wrong. And they wouldn't like yell or beat me or anything like that. They would just
Talk
sit
to
me
you.
down and like teach me. So they were like my I guess, like parents in a
Yeah.
sense. You know
But
what I
you
mean?
called them grandma and
But I called
grandpa.
them grandmom and grandpop because they were just
And
older.
they had a good marriage, I assume,
They had a
because
fantastic
I never
marriage.
met
From what
him.
from what I saw, from what I understand, they had a great marriage.
Mm.
Like I remember always looking at pictures um that my grandmom had of just them, and I would flip through their photo books, and they just always seemed so happy, and they were always just doing life together.
Hmm.
Like whether they were going to Hawaii or, just taking trips, and they were just really great people. Like
Yeah.
I think they're the best people I've ever known in my life.
Yeah. Oh.
Um, so yeah, they were basically they were basically like my parents, but not my parents.
Yeah.
And I owe a lot to them.
Yeah. How old were you when Andy died?
I don't really remember. I want to say I was probably like 6 or 7, maybe. Um,
And he just like died on the lawn, right?
yeah, he was mowing the lawn, and he just had a heart attack.
That's so
And
awful.
my grandmom found him dead on the grass,
That's
like just dead. Um,
I can't believe we didn't bring them up. I wanted to bring them up because when you move, I know when you moved to Hershey, and this is like I'm graduated high school at this point, so like fast all the way forward again. But I know like you didn't want to like completely live with your dad, so you would come back down. I say here as if we're still in Pennsylvania. You would come back down from Hershey, and you would like stay with your grandmom,
yeah,
and so that was like you know,
they were like my home away from home.
yeah,
So like when like no matter where I was, whether I was bouncing back and forth between my mom's or my dad's, I was always like at my grandma or grandpop's,
right,
like at some point.
yeah. Oh,
Um,
both of our grandmoms were really important to us,
yeah,
and that's something we bonded over. And I loved your grandmom, and you loved my grandmom,
yeah,
and so we are in this weird situation at this point where I'm like 20, and you were like 21 or 22, and you were with that girl you were talking about. That she was like the last one of like there was three. There was three girls that you had like rebounded with for an extended period of time, and she was like the last one, and you were together and you were like living with your grandma at the time, and this is when I was on the cruise ship, and everyone knows this part of my testimony. My grandmom's dying, and like you and I hadn't talked in like 8 months, and I call you and you actually answered the phone for the first time because you didn't want to talk to me because of what I did.
hmm
I, like I cheated for all intents and purposes is what I did back in January, and then this is like August when this is happening, and you finally answered the phone, and I told you what was happening, and you were like, just call me back, like, whatever. Nothing that had happened between us really mattered right then.
yeah.
What happened next? Can I
So
just.
I actually, and this is kind of like how that I was getting pretty serious with this girl, because I told her like, "Hey, Angela's grandmom just died, and I really want to go to the funeral." Um, any other person, I probably wouldn't have said anything, and I would have just like snuck around to
Mhm.
do it. But I really didn't want to hurt her, and I actually didn't have any intention of doing anything with you. I really just wanted to come and be there for you. But I mean, obviously, I like still loved you. And I kind of like knew like, oh, we're gonna get back together. It's just bound to happen.
Matter of
This is
time.
probably like the worst thing I could do. But I just didn't care, and I was literally just like, "Hey, I'm going to the funeral," even though she didn't object, but I could just tell she was clearly upset. It was very visible, but I didn't care. So yeah, I went to the funeral, and it was beautiful because just your grandma was incredible, and a lot of people there just like loved her so much, and you could tell.
Mhm.
Um, so as sad as it was beautiful because it was a great celebration of life, in at least in my opinion. Um, and yeah, you and I after the funeral, I think just like went into my car. Um,
This is when I first started smoking weed around this time.
yeah, did we
So it's-
smoke in the
Oh
car?
yeah.
Yeah, we smoked in the car.
You had that piece that we liked.
Yeah, I had a
Yeah.
crazy like
Yeah.
bong thing.
I don't even
It was a steamroller is what I think it's
so
called. But
weird.
and we smoked that, and yeah, one thing led to another, and eventually, like, you know,
Yep.
that happened.
Sin. We sinned.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
sinned.
but we didn't think it was a sin.
Well, I didn't even
We don't
know.
know what sin
I'm
was.
just
Yeah,
like,
it's just like
haha, I'm back with my girl
this is just what
type thing.
happens in the world.
Well, the
Yeah.
worst part of it is now like that had happened and I'm like so happy.
Yeah.
Like I am happy because like I felt like we could probably reconnect now.
Yeah.
Like there's the in. Um but then I had to go on vacation. Like right after I had a vacation planned. And the girl that I was with at the time came with me. And it was like our first vacation together. Um, and the whole time we're there, in my head, I'm just like, I literally just cheated on you and I'm hanging out with you on the beach right now. Like, this is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
I'm being such a terrible person. Um, and eventually, I think you and I were even talking back and forth on the phone when I was on the vacation.
Yeah.
And I was asking you questions like, I think, like, should I tell her? Things like that. And of course, you were like, yeah. But I was like having this crazy conflict, like morally. Like, do I tell this girl now and like break her heart and like she's stuck with me here now and we're stuck together on vacation and like we have to drive back? How does this work? Eventually I just caved and told her. And
She wanted to stay with you.
she wanted to stay
Yeah.
with me. But you know, without divulging too much into her personal life, I look back now and I'm pretty sure she was also hurt and going through a lot of different things that
Yeah. I
she didn't know
mean,
how to deal with other than
from the beginning. Yeah.
kind of just put out and give herself completely to whoever the person was. There was a lot of rejection, a
Mm-hmm.
lot of
It's crazy all the stuff you can see in hindsight in people,
yeah,
like with like spiritual eyes, you
yeah.
know? Yeah.
So she had been hurt a lot,
Mm.
and unfortunately, I became like another tally
Yeah.
on her list.
And then we did end up getting back together. And then college happened. And then more stuff happened. There's just a
College
lot.
was a fun time.
There's just a lot. Yeah. College was like, yeah, let's skip over college. I want to get to Jesus. I'm trying. There's so much, guys. Sorry. After college and all, now like, I do my weight loss thing and blah, blah, blah. Then we start working at that cafe. We finally have people in our lives that we think at the time are like the coolest people we've ever met.
Yeah.
We're like, we think we found our family basically. And this is when I'm starting to get into spirituality. Cause like after my grandmom died, that was it. Like, I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, I'm going to psychics now and I'm getting crystals now. And I'm like doing yoga and like, I lost all the weight. So now I'm like healthy.
Yeah.
I'm healthy spiritually. I'm healthy physically. I'm healthy mentally, but I like was not any of those things really. And then we meet all these people that are also like spiritual and like hippies and smoking weed and
Tripping.
basically this whole
All of
cafe
it.
was like run by a bunch of like 20 to 25-year-old stoners. And we like loved it.
That
Like
was the vibe
that
of the
was
place. Like
yeah.
think like Portland, but like as a cafe.
Yeah, that was it.
And that was like where we worked.
Yeah. And so this is like enter in drinking for you. So what was just very brief of that? What was that experience?
Right. Well, at the cafe, I did a lot of back of house stuff. And like I think this is a really important thing to say. And I say this as often as I can. Like when you work in the restaurant industry, more specifically in the back of house, I think like there is something about that heavily connected with alcohol
Yeah.
and drug abuse.
Yeah.
Because like you have to manage because the whole time your brain is just like frying while you're cooking and doing all these things all at once. And then by the end of the day, you're so spent, like it's just like you need something to take the edge off. So, you know, we did a lot of back of house stuff. And that was kind of like sort of the rite of passage. When you start there, you start in back of house. Eventually you start doing some front of house things. But I liked the back of house.
You know what's funny is like even I'm thinking back to that time, even now, like though it's like the way that we work together in every capacity, even in that environment, was like I was like the front of the house queen and you were
Hmm.
like the back of the house king. Like you just like work so well back there and I work so
Yeah.
well up front. And it was just like, I don't know. And now we do that now.
Yeah.
Front of house, here I am.
Yeah.
You're
Well,
like the back of
you're about
house.
to we're going to flip the script here and you're going to
Oh,
go
is it?
back of house
Oh, I don't know
and
about
I'm
that.
going to be the host of Heaven and Healing. Hi, thanks for joining us in Heaven and Healing. My name's Mike Scafidi, the host.
You're showing.
Um,
Anyway,
but
so
yeah,
you got introduced to alcohol.
yeah, well, not introduced, but like really started drinking more.
Yeah, right.
I
That's
was doing drugs at the time, like I
at
was
that time we were
smoking.
both
We were both just
complete
doing it all the time,
potheads,
but
and we did drink, but
and we did drink a little bit. But I remember one night in particular, like I wasn't really much of a beer drinker. I always did just like hard liquor. I didn't drink beer, but beer was so easily accessible. Um, and one dude that worked there, who we both know, obviously, um, had like a 6 pack of Sierra Nevada Pale Ale and handed me one after a crazy long work shift. And I was just like, I'm not really a beer drinker, but like I could go for like something right now. I need something. Drank it. And I was like, this is actually really tasty. Like this is like a beer I could drink. And then like from that point forward, like anytime they would go out
mm-hmm.
to like the bar,
Yeah,
I would go out to the bar and I
yeah,
would drink.
yeah.
Um,
And I remember we actually used to get in a lot of fights because
you didn't want to go
I
out.
didn't want to go out because I was there was like layers to it. I was obsessed with my body image. I was obsessed with like the fitness thing at the time, like to an unhealthy point
Yeah.
where I was like, I don't even want like I don't want to stay up late because it's gonna mess up like my circadian rhythm
Yeah.
and my metabolism, and I don't want to be drinking because like I'm working so dang hard to look this way. And like, and I don't want you to do those things. I also had a Jezebel spirit. So I'd like, I don't want you to do it because I don't want to do it. Like you
Yeah.
can't do it. And I didn't even I liked drinking on my terms. And I
Mhm.
liked when you drank on my terms. I did not like when you drank on your own terms.
Yeah. I like to drink socially. I like to go out and drink with
Yeah, and
people.
I did not. So
So,
we got in a lot of fights over that. And you would always be out until like 3 o'clock in the
well,
morning.
that's where you and I were a little different. I like to go out and party, and
Yeah.
you were more of like a homebody, and you wanted to stay in and like
And just get
party,
high.
right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I would go out as often as possible and just drink, and we would go to that one like super hole in the wall bar, O'Brien's, and like they reserved like the whole second floor for us because we
Yeah.
were such regulars there.
Mm-hmm.
So we would have like our own pool table, like our own lounge, and we would just hang out upstairs,
Yeah.
get super drunk. Me
Yeah.
and a couple of the other dudes would sometimes go outside, smoke some weed, come back in.
That era
And
of life was literally like a sitcom,
yeah,
like from
it
every
was
angle.
it was
All the
yeah.
characters we knew,
No,
like
actually,
they
it
were all
really was.
characters. The
I
dynamics between us
categorized
all.
I categorized that time of our life as like a very um sort of like stamped chapter, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Like that point forward is where I think the most transformative things in our
Yeah.
lives took place.
Yeah. It's funny because I used to look back at that time of our lives and think nothing would ever touch it. That's how good it was in my perspective. Like, just
Yeah.
again, the people, just the things we did, the things we got into, the lifestyle that we lived. And when we quit that cafe, because we don't have to get into the whole story, but we both walked out one day because of a circumstance. And I was like, I was like, this place and these people are going to haunt me forever. And now I look back and I'm like, that was like one of the most toxic times in my life, actually.
Yeah. Yeah.
Crazy.
And there were some genuinely great people. Like one in particular that I can think of right now who was always so kind and like caring and would actually give you the shirt off of his back for you.
I hope he's well. I hope he
I
finds
do
Jesus.
too. Me too. Um
Actually shares the last name of someone, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
So um you know, and honestly even some friendships now that you have, like
Yeah.
your really good friend. I don't know if should I say her name, is that okay?
Rachel's fine to say.
Rachel, your good friend Rachel, like
Came from that era.
we met her
And
from there,
she came to Christ with me.
and
Yeah.
she did come to
That's
Christ
crazy.
eventually. And there's even some other people
Yeah,
that
yeah.
are involved that have since come to
Yeah,
Christ.
that's true. There was a lot of toxicity, because now at this point, I'm starting, obviously, like I lost all the weight, so I'm hot, and we're going through this thing where like guys want me, and now like all the stuff we went through in high school and college where it was like always like the unseen internet dude that I'm struggling. Now it's like actually like there's people even that we work with that
Hmm.
I'm like starting to flirt with behind your back.
Yeah, I mean, I knew it.
And like that was just so bad. That
I
whole,
knew it, but it was again that weird thing where it's like I I don't know, maybe it was like a self-esteem thing
there's
or
totally
like a lack
some,
of
yeah.
self-respect because I feel like um for most people they might have left,
They should have. You should have.
but I just didn't want to
Yeah.
because I really cared about you and I loved you and
Yeah.
I saw you. Like I knew who you were. Like you were brilliant, you were beautiful, you were just like you had heart, like you cared, you felt deeply. And I just like fell in love with that because it was so like even though I don't think you really knew and I didn't either. We still had so much to grow through and figure out, but I felt like I saw so deeply into you how authentic and real you were. And like I wanted that in my life and I wanted to just take care of you and just love you because like that to me was like so worth loving.
Yeah. I mean, and there's a lot to be said there too, why I really kind of rejected that in a lot of ways. Like,
Yeah.
my own trauma.
Yeah.
My own trauma kept pushing you away. Your trauma kept pursuing me.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, thank God it all worked out. But like,
Did
there's so there are so many times where at that stage, especially, you really should have left, and then later where I should have left.
Yeah,
But
for
like,
sure.
so let's kind of get there. Let's like skip forward. So that time happens, and then we get new jobs. And by the way, he's like kind of living with us at this time. Like, my mom really like probably shouldn't have, but she did take you under our roof because of like the parent situation. Like you couldn't
Yeah.
really be with your dad. You couldn't really be with your mom when you were with your grandma. She's getting older now, so she's like freaking out if you're like out past 8 p.m.
Yeah.
That became like a whole thing. So like you're really living with us,
Yeah.
and that was bad too, even though we liked it. But it did also create this weird dynamic where like I was kind of comfortable where we were at. You're like, I want to take it to the next level. Like, let's move out. We tried to look for apartments, it didn't work. We end up going on a road trip across the country as like an escapism thing.
Yeah.
And now,
Well, really quick, I just want to say this really fast. I do want to honor your mom for really like not having to do that.
yeah,
She didn't have to take me in. One thing I will say about your mom is that she did always put people before her. I do think sometimes
to a fault.
she did it to a fault. And you know, she did a lot for a lot of people, not even just me,
Yeah,
but like her students and stuff. But I do want to just honor your mom for letting me live in
yeah.
her home when she was dealing with a lot of her own problems. Like she didn't just need somebody else being in that house.
Pretty much knowing you were sleeping with her daughter too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But she really like loved me.
yeah. She still does.
And
Yeah,
I know that. And she cared so much about you. Like
yeah,
you're her love.
yeah.
So um yeah, I just want to honor her
Yay,
for that.
mom.
Anyway, continue.
So we are now. Yeah, so we're living there, and now we both have like different jobs. We're still in the restaurant industry. Now we have different jobs. We'll say like this is like 2019. And so now you want to move because you're like, we can't live with your mom forever.
Yeah.
And so now you want to move in to we finding our own place just like wasn't working for whatever reason.
Yeah, we couldn't.
So we end up moving into like deep Philly.
I wouldn't say deep Philly.
It felt like deep Philly to me.
It's like
okay?
hipster Philly.
Hipster Philly.
If you're
whatever.
familiar with Philadelphia, I keep saying this. If you're familiar with Philly, but it's Manayunk.
Manayunk, okay.
Manayunk, Philadelphia.
Fishtown would have been cooler, but Manayunk. We live in Manayunk.
It's basically like a collegey prep or not prep, collegey like hipster town.
So we move in with your
sort
two
of thing.
friends. We won't share too much about them, but like however much you feel comfortable. We move in with your two friends. It just doesn't work. Like I am a wreck. I don't want to be there. They don't want me there. They're fine with you there. They don't want me there. I don't want to be with them. Like, There was like I kept saying there was a spiritual clash because at this time I'm like the most enlightened person on the planet,
Hmm.
and like they're messing with my vibes basically was
Yeah.
like how I felt. I'm like they're messing with my vibes and my feng shui. They won't let me decorate the way I want. Like it was like stuff like that really didn't matter, and like
Right.
but mattered to me for as mentally unstable as I was.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of partying and just like probably the one thing I had in common was that like we smoked and that was it.
Hmm.
But it just didn't work out. And so me and you get in like massive fight and just like break up. You tell me to get out. I'm like happily. So I go back and live with my mom. And that was, I think both of us were like, okay, it's probably actually over. We've broken up way too many times at this
Yeah,
point
this was like the most
for it to not be over. It
final.
was like,
Well, no. The next one, this was like second to
oh,
last.
you mean the Jesus one?
Yeah.
Okay. So so
Hold on, is this one,
this
two,
was
three,
the
four?
second this was the last one BC.
BC.
So it felt final.
Fight BC. Yeah.
So now this is when I'm like, oh, this is it. Like you're living with them. This is the lifestyle you're gonna live. And then like COVID happened, so we're even more away from each other and like whatever. And like this is where I go, and I think I meet my twin flame, and like we're gonna not be together, but we're gonna experience chaos together because that's what we're supposed to do. And I'm like deep in my astrology. I'm deep in all my new age stuff. Like at this point deeper than I ever have been because every year, every month only got deeper and deeper. I'm doing all my moon stuff and whatever. So now do you want to talk about kind of what happened to you in that time when you were living there?
Yeah. So rewinding just a little bit, um, my thought process was we're not finding a place to live. And I have two friends that have space in their house. So even though it wasn't quite ideal, or at least like what we had in mind, I was just like, we have to get on with our lives. And if that means like roughing it in a place that's not like ideally what we want as a couple, like that, then that's fine. Like I was of the mentality like live on a mattress in the living room as long as we're together and out of like the comfort of
The
like the
bubble you used to
parental
call it.
bubble, right?
Yeah, the mom bubble.
And that was my mindset. Now, like now in retrospect, obviously it wasn't the healthiest because it was very much like a party kind of vibe, you know. They're still my best friends, and I still care deeply about them. But it was probably the lowest I had ever been in my life, um, for a while, or at least one of the lowest moments. So fast forwarding, yeah, we did break up, and it wasn't working out in the house. Um, Now you had said that you wanted to decorate your way and you wanted to make the house kind of look your way and all that. And I get that, but my conflict with all of this was that I have my two friends who live here and this is their house and they're opening it for us. And then I have my girlfriend who wants to like make this house her own too. So how do I like be the middleman here? Because that's kind of what I am now. My two friends hate my girlfriend, and my girlfriend hates my two friends. So I tried my best to be like neutral in a way, but it didn't work. Like it was like I had to choose one or the other. And in my mind, I thought you were being unreasonable. Like this is their house. We're the roommates. We don't get total control. Like we don't get to like change their entire house. Like the second we move in. And we also don't expect them to change their lifestyles just because we've moved in. So that was my mindset, and I was starting to lean more towards them because I thought that they were in the right and that you were in the wrong. And I was trying my best to help you understand like, hey, this is kind of like how the world works now
Yeah.
that we're out and about on our own.
Yeah.
And I don't think there was like, I'm not pointing the finger, but I do think there was a lot more wrong happening on your end as far as like how do we live communally versus
No,
like
there
them.
was 100%.
Right.
I was a train wreck. I was in no position to even.
Yeah. So, you move out and now it's just me and my friends. I think we're literally done. Like we're totally so over. And the only thing I could think of was like, cool, I'm with my friends and I'm living that life now.
Yeah.
Like I can do whatever I want. I'm
You're
not being
that
held
guy.
back by my girl.
Yeah.
Like my two friends like hated her because like and I don't think they hated you. I just think they hated you being in the house. Like they didn't like living with you. I don't think they hated you as a person. Y'all just didn't live well together. And that's fine. But you were gone now, and it's like I'm with my friends, and we're gonna party, and we're gonna stay up all night. We're gonna play games. We're gonna drink. We're gonna smoke. We're gonna take photos because I did photography and stuff. And we're just gonna do whatever the hell we want to do. Like we would go to like backyard wrestling events together and stuff. Like it was just whatever. Um, and then yeah, eventually COVID happened. Philly's like locked down. I leave my job because
A restaurant.
it's a
You
restaurant,
had
and
to.
my friend actually worked at the same restaurant. He was working there for a little while too, and the guy was trying to keep the place open, but it wasn't worth it for the drive. We lived like 35, 40 minutes away, and he couldn't pay us properly. And like the world is shut down.
The
I don't
tips
know
weren't
what's
coming
going
in.
on.
Yeah.
There's
Right.
no tips coming in. Like I can't work for like $5 an hour
And
right
we were
now.
getting the like compensation from the government too.
Yeah.
So it was just
Like
like,
I could maybe try, but it wasn't worth it for me. I'm glad his restaurant actually ended up surviving, and I think it's actually doing the best it's ever done right now. It's a very thriving restaurant, so good for him. But yeah, we basically just looked at our phones, realized, okay, everything's locked down. We can't go anywhere. There's nothing to do. What do we do? Well, the only thing to do was to just get completely wasted, get super high, and just party and game all the time. We couldn't leave the house. Um, and I remember actually there was one instance where all the state stores, because it's Pennsylvania, all the liquor stores were state run. So since the shutdown was going on, none of the liquor stores were open. So what did we do? We literally got in the car, drove like an hour and a half away across the bridge into New Jersey, where the liquor stores are privately owned, and we stocked up on like the most liquor ever. We got just boxes of liquor, pounded through all the liquor so fast. Like all I wanted to do was drink. And I mean I was drinking.
yeah.
Like my two friends like they drank and like my one friend like she smoked like a lot. Like she had anxiety and all that stuff, but she was smoking all the time. She loved to smoke. She also worked at a bar beforehand, so whenever I would go over to the bar, she would just
Free. Yeah.
hook us up for free. So this was like my alcohol era. I was literally just like getting wasted. Um, like downing bottles of Jack constantly, like breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We were staying up all night long and then cooking dinner for ourselves at 7 a.m. You know what I mean? Like, and still drinking and smoking and stuff. So yeah, everything was like weird and flip flopped. And yeah, God was
Yeah.
like not in that house.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I remember they like, it's weird because I didn't believe in like Jesus or whatever. But I remember they had a Ouija board that I was like, I can't have that here. It can't be here. That was one of the things I was like, this is spiritually clashing because it's like, I knew that was demonic. And they had a pentagram up.
yeah,
And I was like, this is demonic. I don't even know what demonic means. And I'm
yeah.
actually demonic myself.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, no, that's demonic. Like, get it away from me. So, like,
Well, they were like my one friend. He's an
they're
atheist.
like cultural atheists. Like, they weren't like, or like cultural Satanists, meaning like, I don't think there was any practicing happening, like
No, it's
any
just like the
worshiping. It's just
devil.
like
The
this is like a
devil in
cool
darkness is
vibe.
cool.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
like, well, like my one friend is an atheist and like is in the punk scene, like the punk rock scene. Tattoos, like he's basically TJ, but like
Pre-Jesus. Yeah.
he's just a young dude. Basically TJ.
Yeah.
Tattoos, punk rock scene, like the whole sex, drugs, rock and roll thing. That's him.
Yeah.
And then video games too. Um, And then his then fiance at the time uh, was I think an atheist. I don't really know.
Yeah.
But you know, same thing, same exact stuff. You know, like the whole punk rock scene, like tattoos,
Yeah.
anime. You know what I mean, like all that stuff.
Yeah.
So
Can you tell just really quickly the story of what you did one night when you were really drunk?
yeah,
You know what I'm talking
yeah, I
about?
know exactly what you're talking about. There is a video somewhere too. I have to try and
Yeah.
get it. Um, but yeah, we got completely drunk, and it's like then I wouldn't have cared, and it never
Yeah.
didn't carry any kind of
Didn't
weight.
mean anything.
Yeah. But I remember I got completely drunk. We were playing like some kind of a game, and they had like a pentagram staff on the wall, and it would just like hang there all the time. And we're getting drunk playing this game, and eventually for some reason I was told, "Hey, go grab that pentagram and go outside and yell something." Right? Um So I grabbed the pentagram. I went outside, and then I took my shirt off.
Yeah.
And in the middle of the neighborhood, in the middle of the road, I'm hanging, or I'm swinging this pentagram staff in the air without a shirt, and I'm yelling "Hail Satan!" like as loud as I possibly can. Like I'm literally screaming "Hail Satan!" at the top of my lungs, swinging a pentagram staff, shirtless, in the middle of the night,
Totally drunk.
totally hammered out of my mind. And like everyone in the neighborhood is probably like, this guy.
So there's Mike's spiritual condition in 2020. Yeah, I don't even, oh, I know how we got back together. I slept with someone actually from the cafe era. I don't even know if I should say that, but like the worst person I could have picked, which was intentional kind of on both our ends.
Yeah.
Praise God, he got married.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that was like such a, I could not have regretted something more in my life,
Yeah.
like at the time than that. And like that in a weird way, it was always like kind of these really toxic situations that ended up bringing us back together, but that brought us back together.
I remember like I was going to your house, I think like
You wanted to talk after
I
everything
wanted to talk
happened.
after everything happened.
Yeah.
And like talk about a sitcom or
Yeah.
like a movie or a show or something. Um I pulled up because I wanted to have a talk with you and try and like maybe reconcile. And I saw his car parked out front. And I like stayed parked outside for a minute, like just angry and like sad. All like I felt all the things. And I remember actually calling my dad, and I was like, "Dad, like this dude is in her house right now, and like they're upstairs in their room. I see the lights on up there, and like I don't know what to do. Like I love her, and everything is so messed up, and I just want to like go in there and like punch this guy in the face and like just get her back." And he was just like, you know, being a supportive dad. And he was just like, there's nothing you can do right now. Like, you can't do that. Like, whatever's happening is happening. Like, you just have to drive away.
Yeah, it was really bad.
Yeah.
And then that was when I kind of leaned into like with the other guy too, with like the twin flame thing, who we never did sleep together, but like we did drugs together. We were just like soul bonded, and like it was just like such a messy, sloppy time. This was like peak Taylor Swift for me. This was like peak new age for me. And this was like peak alcoholism for you.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know.
I started doing cocaine and stuff
Yeah,
around this time too.
and then so I don't even, I don't even remember like, oh, okay. I do remember. We got back together, and this is like fast forward a year. I'm trying to fast forward a bit. Fast forward a year, we're like, okay, we got it. We're fine. We're like in a good place. I'm still into new age stuff. So this was like late 2020, very late 2020. My mom, the house we had in high school, she continued to rent that out. And she was like, we basically came to an agreement where she was going to let us rent that out so we could finally live together in our own space for something much more affordable than we would find elsewhere, because it was like my mom was the landlord.
Yeah.
So you move out, and this was like, I remember because it was like I was so excited about Christmas together. It was like December 2020. We moved into that house. And then a year later is when I got saved. So it was like that first year was good. Like, well, you know, it was good-ish. We
Yeah.
still fought a lot.
we were fighting,
We
but
were fighting,
we were
but
back together.
we were back together. We had our date day. We were playing house, so we thought we were doing good. Like
Yeah.
we were decorating, and we had our well, we didn't have the cats yet. We almost had the cats. But we just had like a life. We had a life, or so we thought.
And
But
you started the podcast.
and I started my old podcast. So we're like, okay, things are happening. Cool. Like, you were making good money at the one restaurant you were working at now because you started working at like this really high class place. And so like, yeah, but you were still drinking behind my back.
Oh yeah.
And it was the same thing at this point where I would still drink with you on my terms, and I only liked that you would drink with me. I knew you had a problem, but I wasn't gonna like really come down hard on it because I liked to drink when I wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
I had a problem with weed.
Yeah,
You didn't really smoke that much
You
at this
smoked
point.
all the time.
You preferred alcohol, but you would smoke with me, but I was smoking all the time.
I would get like really bad panic attacks and
Right.
anxiety and stuff.
You would get demonic attacks. We just didn't know that's what it was.
Yeah.
I was doing all my new age stuff. I was deep in it at this point. There were crystals all over the house. There was like astrology tapestries, Buddha heads. You didn't really like care. You're like, whatever, decorating's your thing. This was like your video game thing. You were always up all night. We always got in fights about that.
Mm-hmm.
You straight up told me like, this is who I am. Like, I'm always going to play video games. If you don't like it, like whatever. And I'm like, well, okay, you know?
Yeah.
So this was okay. So then towards the end of 2020 is when I have that like come to Jesus moment. I'm on the floor. Jesus saved me. People know that story. A couple months later, like we go on a little road trip. That's when you proposed to me, and I said yes because Jesus delivered me instantaneously from all the intrusive thoughts I had about you, because I always had intrusive thoughts because I had like a spirit there. I had a lot of double-mindedness. He delivered me from that like ping pong match of like, do I want to be with Mike? Do I want to settle down? Do I want this? Or do I want to go soak my wild oats? Like I never really, whatever, even though I knew there was a lot of pain in that life. So now he delivers me from that. And I'm like, finally, okay, I can just like settle and like have a normal relationship and be. And when I say settle, I don't mean like settle for you. I just mean like settle into the peace that I finally felt with you, that I always really wanted, but didn't know how to achieve because I had literal voices in my head, like talking. Like literal like demons talking in my head. And so when you proposed to me, it was just like, yes. I was like, yes, there is no voice. There are no voices. It was just like, I always say the ocean horizon behind you was how it felt in my mind. I was like, yes, that's what I want. But this is like, I'm kind of flirting with Jesus and the new age at the same time at this point. So I don't understand being unequally yoked. I just know like, Jesus.
Yeah.
He took some really heavy things from me.
Yeah.
So I'm going to incorporate him in my moon practices. But I remember on that trip, I remember telling you, I think some of this stuff is actually kind of evil. I'm not really sure, but like yoga. And you're like, that seems a little weird. And I remember crying on the balcony in North Carolina with you, like, this isn't easy for me. I feel like everything I know is a lie. Like this Jesus thing is ruining my life, even though it's the best thing that's happened to me. And then I get saved in December when we're at the bar, December 2021. We're literally at a bar drinking. I like sobered up instantaneously when I got convicted of Isaiah 47 and the astrology thing.
Yeah.
And you're like, are you okay? Like, we're just playing pool. You're like, are you okay? And I'm
Yeah.
like, no,
Well,
I'm not.
At this point, I'm just like, I know Jesus is like a thing that's happening.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh.
But it's just like a spiritual thing at that point.
So I remember this night because like we're playing billiards, and yeah, you get like totally convicted in that moment, and the whole night, and to me is just like shot. Like, come on, we're out having fun, we're drinking. Like, why do you want to leave all of a sudden? Like, can't we just like have fun?
Can't we just be normal? Because
Can we
I was
just,
never
like,
normal.
Do the thing, just chill.
Yeah, I could never relax.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, okay, so let's talk about how you started to feel when I met Jesus, and especially when I'm like, hey, I'm going to throw everything out. Like like the whole house is getting a detox right now. I'm giving my life to Christ.
Yeah, I literally thought you were nuts. Like, I actually thought you were crazy. And I remember, and I wish I could go back and like change a lot of these things, but I used to tell everybody like she's brainwashed. Like Angela's like totally crazy. Like, I just proposed to her and she's like all like Jesused out, like everything. She wants to throw it all away, like costs like thousands and thousands of dollars. Like, you know, it's just, it was just nuts to me. It was
Yeah.
just crazy. And I didn't really want anything to do with it, but I figured like, okay, I can probably like stick it out. I'll get her through this. is what I thought. Like,
Because you were used to my spirituality,
I was used to the
and you thought it was just
spirituality.
like something different.
Dude, you used to think you were a starseed. Like, you used to
Yeah.
literally think like pillars of light were like launching out of my chest and stuff. Sorry, not to be like, not to be, but like, I was just like cool with that. You know what I mean? But now is like ridiculous.
Mm.
You know, because Jesus,
Just him.
how silly, huh? But yeah, I didn't like it at all. Like, you were changing. Like, the girl that I knew, remember that
Mm.
like authentic
That you
real
always
girl
wanted
that
to
I was
stick
talking
around for,
about?
that talked to other guys
Yeah.
and like mess around behind your back, that you were like, oh, but she's just so real and
Yeah.
authentic.
Well, now she loves Jesus,
And
and I think
she's
she like loves
changing.
Jesus more than me.
Mm.
And like, I've lost you to men before, and I'm not going to lose you to God. So like, it became this
So dark, dude.
whole like, it was basically like me, like little Mike, like fighting Jesus. Like, like, what are you doing, dude? You are losing this battle, buddy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't like it at all. It really pissed me off. And you always wanted to take me to church, and I would just say like, nope, I'm good. I do not want to do that. There were a couple times when I went, like,
Mm.
just to kind of like, it was literally not for me.
I could just go sit there for an hour. That was like the
It was
mentality.
just for you. I was just
Just.
like, whatever, like, we'll get this over with. And I hated it
Mm-hmm.
so much. And you know, it just got crazy. And I was telling like my friends and stuff, like, she's brainwashed and like looking for, you know, like affirmation from all of them. Like, yeah, you're right. She is crazy. And I got it. And, you know, uh, I remember one moment in particular, when I guess you just got totally convicted, realized like what it was to like not be pure
Mm-hmm.
in your walk. And you came home from, I think it was like you came home from church one
Mm-hmm.
day, and you were just like, I think like I need to like put sex like on the back burner. Like, we can't really be having sex before
Married.
marriage. And I heard that, and you might as well have just shot an arrow through my heart. I was just like, no sex till marriage? Dog, we got months.
Yeah, we didn't even start planning at
We
that
didn't even
point.
plan it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Because I actually remember we were intimate a Sunday morning before church, and then and you wouldn't come to church with me that day, even though we had just had sex, and I felt even dirtier.
Yeah.
And I
Wow.
remember sitting in the service, like just like I was like covered in bile. Like, I had no offense, but I was just
Love you too,
like,
honey.
I was just like, I felt
Whoa.
so, I felt like the scum of the earth. And I was like,
Wow.
I can't even believe I feel like this.
Mm.
Like, I never thought in my whole life sex before marriage was bad.
Yeah.
And I just felt so convicted and so dirty. And like, I wanted to just like scrub my body clean. And I remember on the way home just crying and crying and being like, I have to tell him. And he's already so mad at me for how I've changed and like how I've put crosses up on the walls,
Yeah.
and like there's Bibles on the kitchen table now instead of like crystal altars. Like, he's already
Mm-hmm.
so mad. He's gonna hate this. This is gonna be like really bad. But I have to. I can't feel like this again. And I remember coming inside and you're like, why are you being weird? And I like told you that. And it was just like, you literally walked out of the house.
Yeah.
I like remember that. You like
Yeah.
walked out
I
of
was
the
like
house.
quiet. I don't even think I've talked. I was
Yeah,
just
you
like,
just got up and walked out.
goodbye. Because it
And
was reaching a point where it's like, okay, Angela's not here anymore.
I was like a Puritan to you. It
Yeah.
was like
I was like, okay, great. You're gonna start wearing like all white.
skirts and
Yeah, you're gonna
head
wear skirts
coverings.
down
Yeah.
to your like toes. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, I just thought I was like
I
losing
mean,
you
my wardrobe
completely.
was actually changing.
Your wardrobe
though.
was
Like,
changing,
I
but
stopped dressing like a
yeah,
harlot.
sucked to me at that time.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I remember eventually it got to a point where I was like giving you an ultimatum. I was like, okay, this is crazy. Something's got to give. I cannot do this Jesus crap no more. Like, you're totally different. You don't want to go drinking. You don't want to party.
Yeah.
You don't want to do a single thing that's fun anymore with me. You don't even want to like listen to the same music as me
Or
anymore.
watch anything.
Like, you don't want to watch movies that I like to watch. I was like, okay, now's the time. You have to decide. It's like me or God. Make your choice. And dude, you chose God. Like I don't think you said it,
I didn't.
but
I didn't
your
really.
silence might as well have just been like a cannonball exploding. It was like
Wow.
loud enough for me to realize like, all right, I have no shot. Eventually, you know, we're kind of living together, but there's a tension
We're like
now.
roommates now. We're not like
Now
a
we're just like
couple.
roommates. There's a tension,
Yeah, it's
a very, very tangible tension. And I'm drinking like constantly behind your back. I'm hiding bottles all over the place. Like I'm drunk times when you wouldn't have even thought. And I'm just like, what am I gonna do?
the Holy Spirit always showed me where you hid them, by the way. So
I'm
I knew.
well, I know obviously you knew.
But I do know that I do know you were good at being drunk and being acting sober. I know that.
Yeah,
It's terrifying.
I was a really functional alcoholic.
Yeah.
Like at work, for a long time. And
I know you were watching porn
yeah,
because I stopped.
I was watching porn all the time.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't having any intimacy with you. I left my friends in Philly. Um, I didn't really have any friends other than like work friends, and I didn't really hang out with them because I worked like almost an hour away. So if I wanted to hang out with them, it was like a super late night, and then I'm driving home late, and then I have work in the morning, and it just didn't work out. So I felt like alone.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, well, I'm gonna drink and I'm gonna watch porn and I'm gonna play video games, and that's all I'm gonna do. And I don't care how you feel about it. And then eventually, we're working. I start working at that other job, the new job in Philly. But through all of this stuff, we're still living together, and there's that tension. And I'm offered a job for a management position. I'm serving at this job currently, and they offer me a position as a manager, which is what I wanted. And I'm like, okay, yeah, cool. Let me sit down with the regional manager and talk about it. And he says, if you're interested, we have a position opening up for a manager in Franklin, Tennessee, which at the time, and we haven't really shared this, but like we wanted to go to Tennessee.
Yeah.
We really wanted to live in Tennessee, and we were even looking at Franklin.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
what? Where did this come from? So he offers me the job, and I pretty much accept it. I haven't talked to you yet, but I accept it because I'm like, she'll love this. We can like go to Franklin and everything will be cool. We'll
We
be
can
good.
fix it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we can get through all this Jesus crap. Like and like mind you, I don't talk like this. I'm letting you know
That
like
was
that
like
this is how I used to speak. I'm not like a like Jesus crap. Like I don't say this kind of stuff, but that's what it was for me then. Like it was just like whatever. Little did I know that you were actually,
So yeah.
if you want to tell this
Yeah.
part.
And they've heard this, but when we went on our road trip in 2017, we loved Tennessee, loved everything about it. And then on that other road trip we went on, when we got engaged, Tennessee was one of our stops because it was on the way and we were seeing something like Daily Wire related or whatever. And we're like, it's so cool here. It's so conservative here. Like people are kind here. They smile at you here. It's great. We should live here. We should make it a goal to move here.
Mhm.
We're sick of Pennsylvania, blah, 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 blah. And so it was like just one of those things we wanted to do, but it's like how are we going to move to Tennessee?
Right.
We could barely get our own place that we had to get my mom as our own landlord.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like it was just like how. It's just one of those things we always talked a lot about things we would do, but like how.
Yeah.
So it felt like one of those things. And I remember like, obviously I'm in a lot of pain too because like I said, I'm finally at a place with you where I'm like I'm happy to be engaged. I want to get married, but now the more I fall in love with Jesus, the less he likes me, and we're getting in fights like awful ones. Like you're so nasty. Like in all the years I had known you, you had never been that nasty to me. Even the things I put you through, like the situation with the guy we just talked about, like even though we weren't together, I knew what I was doing to you by picking him to be the person that I'm going to get like my comeback sleep with, whatever. you weren't mean. You weren't even a fraction of mean to me the way you were when I just loved Jesus.
Man, Jesus triggered me like
Yeah,
really
it
bad.
was like you had never acted like that. I had never seen, and I know now it was literal. I saw demons in your eyes, the way you would look at me and the things you would say to me. It was literally, I used to tell people, it's like the Holy Spirit is like in the house and there's like demons everywhere. And like, I didn't know you actually could have them at that point, but like there were, they were just, you were just manifesting all the time. You were so nasty. And I didn't want to leave because I'm like, no, we finally can get married because like Mike, you don't get it. Like I'm actually better now. I don't want other guys anymore. I don't want to do all that stuff anymore. Like,
Hmm.
and you think I'm getting boring, but I feel like I'm finally actually becoming healthy. Like I don't want to die anymore. I don't want to hurt myself. Like I don't, yeah, I'm not into that music anymore, but it's because I don't need it anymore. And I remember you were saying one time when we're sitting there, like, you're just like, do you even know who you are anymore? Like, do you have any personality outside of Jesus? And I didn't even know that the Bible says you have to die to yourself, but that's what like I was like old Angela literally passed away and I was a
Hmm.
new creation in Christ. Like no, I didn't have an identity outside of Christ anymore, but I tried to like hold on. So I would still drink with you sometimes even though I didn't want to, and I would sleep with you until I couldn't anymore. And I would just try and keep one foot in the world just to show you like, no, look, I can have Jesus and still be Angela. Like I just wanted to keep you so bad. And so I would pray for you all the time because I was also devastated at your eternity because I was thinking like that for the first time in my life. Heaven and hell are real places. And I was on my way thinking that I was a good person because I had good morals and because like I helped people and because I was working with angels. I know I was deceived
Yeah.
and I was going to hell and Mike's going to hell if something doesn't give. So I would just have these times where I'm like crying in the car like, God, please save him, please open his eyes, literally begging every day that you would be saved. I'm fasting for you even when you would be mean to me. Like I'm begging God to save your life, I'm begging God to save your eternity, I'm begging God selfishly to save our relationship. I'm like, I want to be with him. But when does get to a point where you start praying those dangerous prayers, as they call them, like, God, if he's not of you, take him, get rid of him. So I started praying that later, but I remember praying very specifically, just like one day, God, like if you're gonna save him, I need some sort of a sign. And I didn't know the Bible said don't do that. Don't ask God for signs, but
Hmm.
he's just so kind. I was like, God, I need a sign. Give me a sign, like set us up in Tennessee or something. Just something, just so I know it's you and not like what I want. I just need to know it's you. That something's happening here. And then you come home and you're like, I was offered a job, a manager in Franklin. And I was uh,
Hmm.
like you didn't know. I was like,
Yeah.
really? And there were other things too. Like you started to see like license plates and you had people coming up to you like, hey, have you heard the gospel? Like none of that stuff that ever
Yeah,
happened
randomly.
before.
Like I would just be walking in the mall and someone would come up to me, like the Willow Grove Mall. Like someone would just come up to me and be like, "Hey, like, do you know Jesus?"
Yeah.
Huh? I called you. I remember. I was like, some crazy dude is talking to me about God.
And
He
I'm
wants me to
like,
come to his church.
yeah. So that's just stuff like that was just happening all the
Yeah, it
time.
was starting to pop up everywhere,
Yeah. And it was
and it
annoying you
was
further.
annoying me. Like I would just see it like on the back of cars, like written in like dust on the windshield. Like, and then any of the guests that I was serving, sometimes they would hand me a book that said like,
Yeah.
your salvation, something something.
Yeah.
So it was constant, but eventually, like, um it was like, all right, it's time to move, like,
Yeah.
we're doing this thing. But the plan was actually that I would go and get my training and stuff out of the way for the job and sort of find a place for us to stay, and you would stick around back in Pennsylvania and kind of collect your bearings, when realistically you were already getting convicted or were convicted
Mm-hmm.
about being unequally
Mm-hmm.
yoked. So I was going to do my job and like, get into this career of like
Yeah.
management in like a nice restaurant. Um, and you were in the back kind of like battling your own
Yeah,
like
I felt like God was holding like like I was like a rabbit and he has this like a dangly carrot in front of my face like, here's Tennessee, here's Mike, you can have
a
this.
test of like,
Yeah,
yeah.
like like, do you really want me? Like I felt like God was testing me and I was like,
Yeah.
he can go. Fine, I'll stay behind and we'll
So
figure it out.
eventually, I'm there, and I start realizing that that's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Like I start to recognize that like, oh, I'm the furthest I've ever been from everything. Like I am so alone right now. I thought I was alone before.
Mm-hmm.
Literally the closest person that I know is 800 miles away.
Yeah.
Um and I'm in just like this crappy kind of hotel, nothing special, but they put me up for 3 months. So I wasn't going to argue. Like I have free living for the next 3 months while I'm training. So I'll stay wherever. Um, but I just realized how alone I was and realized that you and I probably weren't going to get back together because I don't think you're coming to Tennessee. I
I didn't tell you because I wasn't trying to manipulate you. I didn't want you to be like, yeah, I believe in Jesus for me.
Right. Well, I had your laptop because I brought it with me, and you didn't know at the time that your laptop was still connected to your iMessage, like
Thank you, Apple products.
on your
Yeah.
phone. So while I was there, I was reading every text you
Like
were sending.
Rachel and
Like
Alyssa.
all of your private messages, I was just like in a hotel room, 800 miles away, reading all of it
Yeah.
and figuring out like how I'm going to manipulate you into coming to Tennessee. Like I was literally that like
Yeah.
in the dark here.
Yeah.
Like I'm drinking the most now. I'm literally like there was a liquor store right around the corner. I could walk if I wanted to. And I was drinking constantly, alone, every night, always. And I just noticed all the things that you were saying
Yeah.
to your
I was
friends.
telling people, for the record, guys, I was telling people the Bible's actually really annoyingly clear about marriage and not marrying an unbeliever and being unequally yoked, and literally says like, what fellowship do you have with Baal? Like, I'm like, oh my gosh, the Bible's called like equating him to Baal. Like that's how God saw a relationship. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can't. Like, I can't go down there. I can't marry him. And I'm telling Alyssa and Rachel, I'm like, unless he has like a miraculous come to Jesus moment, like I am praying for every day, every minute of my life, I cannot go down there and marry him.
Mm.
And so you saw that and you knew that's where I was.
Yeah. So I I was drinking a lot. I would also like call my mom because we were getting a little bit closer at this time. And I would talk to her a little bit about it and just say like, hey, like I just am never gonna do this Christian thing. And I just don't know how to like get her to come here. Um and talking to friends like on the phone once in a while. And I was actually, and you don't even know this actually, so here's your exclusive.
Oh boy.
That girl that I worked with at J. Alexander's that you were a little like skeptical of,
Mm-hmm.
you remember? Yeah, I was like kind of like flirting with
Hmm.
her on and off. Because I just like wanted,
Woman's intuition's always correct.
yeah, I just wanted like I wanted connection. Like
Yeah.
I just wasn't getting anything. I was alone. I was sad, miserable. So I was like on the phone with her for like 5, 6 hours one night, flirting back and forth, whatever. Never went anywhere because I didn't want it to, but I just like was being flirty.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think one day I just called you so drunk and I started like screaming at you over the phone.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I just like lost it.
Mm-hmm.
And did I tell you that I was reading your messages at that?
No, you
No.
just told me like, I don't want you to effing come here. Like,
Yeah, yeah, I
don't
just went
even.
nuts. I went ballistic. I was drunk. I was reading your messages and I was just like, I've had enough of this. Like, whatever. Stan, Pennsylvania. I literally want nothing to do with you anymore. I'm here now. There's nothing I can do about it. I've moved. You didn't come with me. You care more about God than me. You want a relationship with Jesus? Then fine. Go have fun with your stupid relationship with God. I'm going to stay here and be the best I've ever been, hammered every night.
Yeah.
Um, man, that was bad. It was really bad. And then, there were so many weird things that happened, like when we weren't talking during that period. Um,
It was only like a week.
it was only like a week because
Yeah.
I'll get to that, but I remember seeing a lot of things around, like, little like Jesus loves you, like signs. I remember there was one night when I got like super drunk and I'm laying in the dark and I just remember like my eyes are open and it's so dark in the room, and I start like having this weird, almost like introspective, like what is life, like what is the purpose and what is the meaning of life type conversation with myself, like asking, like, you're looking into darkness, you don't see anything, but you're like having thoughts. So like, what's thoughts?
Mm.
I'm thinking like weird, like spiritual type questions, whatever. And I'm like, all right, God, if like you're real, prove it. Immediately, my phone lights up the entire room and I can like
Mm.
see.
The light.
And
Darkness
like
can
that's how I
comprehend.
interpreted it in the moment, but I didn't like, I'm actually connecting the dots right now too. So that happened and I'm like, ha 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 ha, that's so funny. What a coincidence. And then I devised this plan to lie about being a Christian so that I could get you to come to Tennessee, which is like to this day one of the like worst things I've ever done. So I was like, okay, cool. Thanks for the idea. Um, and I am still having like these weird run-ins with like these, I guess, signs or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But it only furthered my like just, I guess,
Rebellion.
weird rebellion and hunger to like get you to come to Tennessee. It was like a mission now. I was like, oh, like if she's not going to come because
Oh
she
wow.
wants to, I'm going to make her come. And
Mm.
I know exactly what to do to pull on her strings and get her to get here. So I was like, yeah, I'm Christian. Like, I don't know. I'm having thoughts about like hell. I'm having thoughts about like, God. I might even go to this one church if you find a church for me to go to. And I did go, but I didn't care. I was just like, I'll go so I can tell you what they talked about.
Mm-hmm.
It was all like none of it was for me. It was all to like figure out how to manipulate you and get you to come. I was like super twisted and
Mm-hmm.
dark and like sad and miserable and drunk all the time. And I said all the right things,
Yeah.
and
You literally said
I
all the
was
right things.
very
I'm like on the other end, like crying. I'm like, thank you, God. It's like
I was
the
really
devil's like, whoa.
yeah, dude. I was like
Yeah.
lying like I've never lied
Yeah.
before, and it ended up working. And you
Yeah.
came here.
So this is why now this is the part where someone recently was like, didn't you say in one of your videos that he came to Christ and then you moved?
Yeah,
Because they heard me say you got saved the night I was delivered. So
right.
people are thinking like, oh, are you lying? Like, no, actually, I had no idea you lied
Yeah,
for a while.
I lied for a very long time
Mm-hmm.
about being Christian, and it was so much that I was like going to church and stuff, to like just further the lie.
Mm-hmm.
I needed like optically, I was like, it needs to look like I'm Christian
Yeah.
in order for people to like believe I'm Christian, in
Mm-hmm.
order for you to come here and be with me, and
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna get married. And I was just like, whatever, I'm gonna lie the rest of my life because I'm gonna have my girl.
Yeah. Which we, as soon as I moved, like, yeah, you would pray
Yeah.
and like
I was just like,
I was, and then we started planning our wedding because I was like, now we got to get married like soon.
yeah,
So we planned our wedding within like 4 months from the time I came down here.
yeah,
And yeah, I just thought you were just a babe in the faith and like just needing to be sanctified. I didn't know you were lying. I really didn't. Because you were a good liar, unfortunately. Again,
yeah,
like you were drunk a lot of the time. I didn't even realize you were just good at lying. You were, again, you grew up in a really bad environment
yeah,
where you had to build defense mechanisms, and that
right,
was kind of one of them. And
yeah.
so now, so let's just like quickly cover like how you felt. between, let's say I think we moved late October of 22, right?
Hmm.
We moved here late. Well, I moved here late October of 22 when we moved into the house we currently live. And then, which, yeah, by the way, yeah, we weren't married yet. We lived together. I know in hindsight, would have done a lot of things differently, but God's grace is bigger than my mistakes. Anyway, we didn't sleep together. I will say that we did sleep in separate rooms until we were married. So I
Yeah.
was trying to honor God, and I thought you were too, but you were just like going along with it.
Yeah, I was just rolling with the punches, like whatever.
And so this is from like late October until our wedding date was April 25th.
Hmm.
Mid March, I start learning about deliverance and the gifts of the spirit. And so now all of a sudden I'm like charismatic. So now like you're like thinking you can deal with the Christian thing because it's just like just a part of our lives now. We go to church and whatever.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, Mike, the craziest thing happened last night. My friend casts demons out of me, and you like divert back to that freak out mode where you're like, what? This is crazy.
Yeah, because great. Now there's another step to
Now
this
there's
Christian thing. Wow, it like never stops.
you're like,
Um,
what are you talking about? You had an exorcism? This is insane.
yeah,
And
I was just trying to talk you out of it. Like that's just crazy stuff. Like
I'm
you're,
like, no, I'm literally free from weed because I'm still smoking this whole time. I'm like, no, Mike, I'm free. You know,
Mhm.
like it was a demon. I know it sounds crazy. And then so then I'm like, so Come Out in Jesus' Name was was premiering at this time, and I'm like, if I get Mike into this movie, he's gonna get delivered from alcoholism. He's gonna get delivered from depression. He's gonna get delivered from so much, like, because I think you're Christian,
Mhm.
like I think you're born again right now
Yeah.
with me, and so like you fight me tooth and nail that night to get into the theater, but you come.
Yeah.
You're like 40 minutes late, but you come anyway.
That was on purpose too.
Yeah, I know. You just didn't want to be there.
I just like
I
it
know.
was the end of my shift at work,
Yeah.
and I
The
just
movie
like
theater's,
hung
like, down
out
the
with
street.
people, and I was just like figuring out every possible way that I could miss most of the movie and show
Yeah.
up at the end like, "Well,
Yeah.
work was tough. It was a late night."
Yeah. I wanted you to learn about the deliverance thing because I'm like, this is a game changer.
Yeah.
Like, you know, Jesus is a game changer in and of himself, but like the freedom in his name,
Mhm.
I just knew like that was anyway. So you come to the movie, it goes through, it gets to the very end. I'm like, oh, I hope he's learning so much about the theology behind this and blah blah blah. Gets to the very end, and there's like a renunciation, and so I start renouncing. And my first deliverance with Taylor, that was really focused on like the addiction thing,
Mhm.
and that was great. But this was like going in on the witchcraft, and he was going down like like he was going down the list, and I start manifesting in the movie theater, like Kundalini manifesting, like writhing like a snake and hissing and screaming manifesting. So, what was that experience like for you, sweetheart? As
Yeah.
someone who's lying about being a Christian.
Yeah, so I'm sitting through like I guess the second half of this movie. Um and I just like think it's so stupid. Which is it's so funny because like now looking back, a lot of the people talking in that movie
Like
are like
some
our
of our
friends.
closest friends.
You know what I mean? So like it's really funny, but
Uh,
um yeah, I'm sitting there and I'm thinking like this movie is so dumb. Like I thought we were coming to a movie at least, and
yeah,
it's like
not
an
it's like a
interview type
documentary.
thing,
Yeah.
documentary style, like about like demons and Christians and blah blah blah. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so stupid. But I'm powering through it. And then the end comes up and you stand for the renouncing. And I'm like, what are you doing? And then like other people are standing too. And I'm just thinking, cult, this is a cult. Great. Like I'm getting roped into like the literal craziest thing ever.
Cold.
And yeah, you start renouncing, you're like talking out loud to the screen. And I'm like, oh boy. But you know, I'm whatever. It's whatever. I'm sitting there because I'm a Christian, and I'm like trying to be like
Yeah.
keeping it cool, and like this will be over eventually, whatever. Dude, you start like crying, and we're like in a public movie theater, and this is the part where I'm just like getting fed up, and I'm kind of just like suffering silently now, like really like suffering silently, keeping to myself, and going through the thought process of like, I don't think I can do this much longer. This is probably the one that's going to put the nail in the coffin. And then you start screaming like you're actually getting delivered
Mm-hmm.
in this movie theater, and other people in the theater are actually coming up to you and they're laying their hands on you. And I'm just seeing all of this happen. And I'm thinking, like, I need to get out of here. Like, this is actually crazy. Angela's gone. Like, she doesn't exist no
Like a
more. I don't even
psychiatric.
want to get married to this girl anymore. I don't care if she thinks I'm Christian or not. I'm done with this nonsense.
Our wedding's like a month and a half out.
Wedding's like right around the corner.
Yeah.
There's two kids to the left of me speaking in tongues.
Sharaba. Like just
I don't know what
like
tongues is. So I'm hearing this to the left of me and I'm thinking like, bro, what?
yeah.
Like if there's demons, this is demonic.
Oh,
All
you
of this
sound
is
like some people on the
demonic.
internet. Say it, boy.
This is crazy. And then they come closer to me and they're sitting next to me and I'm watching you like on the floor now at this
Like
point, and you're
vomiting and
vomiting and you're
shaking.
manifesting like crazy.
Yeah.
And these people are praying over you, and these people next to me are in like speaking in tongues. And dude, I don't know what to do because I'm in a weird place now where I feel like I can't just leave you because
Yeah.
all of this is so crazy. I don't want you to get hurt,
Uh-huh.
right? Like I'm thinking about like if I leave, like something bad could happen to you. This is a crazy place. Um and
This
then I'm
is
also thinking um like I really want to leave. I want to walk out. So I'm conflicted, but I'm sitting there and I'm just like pressing through and I'm staying silent. And then I'm starting to have this thought like, aren't you like her fiance? And you don't even care to like maybe get down on the floor with her and hold her? You don't care to like maybe pick her up at least? Like at the very least, you could pick your fiance up and maybe bring her out of the room,
Mm.
if you're feeling like this is all so crazy. But I literally can't move because I don't know what to do. I don't want to leave. I do want to leave. People are speaking in tongues next to me. Like I might as well just be in a crack house. I don't even know what's going on. And um, the one person next to me starts asking me like, "What's troubling me?" Um,
You're like, don't talk to me,
and I'm
dude.
literally just like, I don't really want to talk, but I was just like, nothing. I'm just like, observing, whatever. He was just like, is there like, are you feeling like depression or anything like that?
He's about
Like
to start praying for
he's
you.
he's he's like kind of trying to figure out what's going on with me.
Mm-hmm.
Because he wants to pray for me. I didn't know that at the time. I just brush him off,
Yeah.
whatever. All of it ends, right? So like, like all these things are being cast out of you. I don't know what's happening,
Mm-hmm.
but that's what's happening.
That's what happened.
2 hours, I think.
It was a
It was a
yeah.
very long time. All the lights came on.
It was
like
it was literally all the new age stuff.
yeah.
It was intense. It was
all
my most
all of the
intense
lights came
deliverance.
on. The workers were like coming in to clean, and then they turned around. They were like, "I'm not going in there." Like they walked back out. So like the theater was basically ours.
Yeah.
And it all comes to an end. I'm quiet. You get up. We start walking out of the theater, and we had, I drove there from work, so you drove there separate. And I'm like, "Hey, I'll meet you at home." I had no intention of going back home after that night. I was just like, this is it. Like, I think next time I see you is when I've got the U-Haul to pack up and leave. So I go back to the only place I really have to go back to is, I go back to my job where the closing manager is working. And she's counting her money. I know the place is empty. I have the keys. I go back into the restaurant, meet her in the office. And she's like, "What are you doing here?" And I'm like, "I just need to like sit down for a minute." Like I'm like basically like pale in the face is how freaked out I am. And she's like, "Okay." So I sit down and I'm just like, I don't know what to do. And she's like, "What do you mean?" And I say like, "I don't think I can marry Angela. I don't think I can do this wedding." She's like, "What happened?" And I start telling her, I'm like, I don't know, like they were putting their hands on each other. People were screaming. Angela was throwing up in the theater. People are talking in a different language next to me. Um, it's like it was like The Exorcist, and I felt like I was surrounded by crazy people. And like it's like she's in a cult. She's far gone. She's too far gone. Like I don't know what else I can do. And the manager, who isn't Christian or anything, um, and honestly, I expected her to just be like, "Yeah, that's crazy. Like you can't marry her." Um, was basically just like, "Wow, that's pretty nuts." I don't really know what to tell you. I know somebody that can maybe help you though. And at this point, what time is it? Like 1 a.m.
It's
maybe?
probably like midnight, and then
Yeah,
by the time you get to this dude's house, it's 1 a.m.
right. So she calls up her friend, uh, kind of tells him a little bit about what's going on, and he lives like an hour away. She's like, "Hey, like my friend probably knows what to say, how to talk to you about this if you want to go and talk to him." Um, and you know me, I'm the type of person that does not like go out with strangers and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm social, but only with my group.
Mm-hmm.
I don't just like be going to strangers' homes at 1 a.m.
Yeah.
But at this point, like, what else am I gonna do? So I just say yeah, and we drive an hour. I realize on the drive, like, dang, this is taking so long. Like, where are we going? Where is she taking me? So we get to his house. Um, she knocks on the door. He answers it. Um, and he just invites us in. I'm like, all right, cool. We sit down at the table in his dining room, and I remember like he has like this like crazy fish tank. Like just it's like the most distinct thing about his apartment that I remember is like this massive fish tank because there's like a saltwater thing. I don't know. Anyways, but he asked me what happened, and I start to kind of explain, and he's like, "Hold on, wait 1 second." Leaves, comes back with the Bible, and I'm like, "Oh, what is happening?" But says pretty much like take it from the top, like what all happened. I started explaining it to him, like going through all the stuff, like the hands throwing up, the screaming, the tongues, whatever. I didn't know it was tongues, different crazy language. And man, I remember this like look, this like distinct look on his face. His eyes specifically. Like you're not looking at me like somebody who's like, yeah, that's crazy. You're almost like looking at me like, wow, that's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
He's looking at me like with like amazement in his
Mm-hmm.
eyes, right? And I remember feeling that, like, why are you looking at me like everything I'm saying
Why
is
is
like
there
the
awe?
coolest thing, you know? But anyways, I'm still talking to him about it, and he does start reading me some scripture. I remember he opens up to Romans, and I still to this day don't remember exactly what it was in Romans that like really got me. But he starts talking to me about like being unequally yoked because I'm talking to him now about how I can't marry you and like how I just don't think there's anything that I can do to move forward in our relationship, XYZ. And he basically tells me straight up, like, well, you need to end it then. Because if you keep on going on with this lie and you trap her in a marriage, and if she's like as convicted and as serious about her relationship with Jesus as you're saying she is, then you're doing like the ultimate no. Like you are trapping your wife, who you're supposed to love, in a nonsense bullcrap relationship. You don't love her, you're lying to God,
Mm.
and you're basically making her your slave. And I don't know, like I never heard anyone say that before. Um and I'm like, but like you don't think any of this stuff that I'm telling you is crazy? Like none of this stuff? He's like, why is it crazy? I'm like, okay, well. what do you let me take it from the top. The screaming, the throwing up, the XYZ, like, isn't that nuts? He's like, well, I mean, I can't speak for I can't speak on what happened because I wasn't there. You saw it. I don't know what God does because I'm not God. God does whatever, he wants to do. I mean, I'm paraphrasing here a lot. But I remember he's telling me this stuff and I'm listening. And then I don't know what it was. He said something and it led to the question, what do you want to me? And I think like every thought just like flooded me all at once. Like, what am I doing here? What is my life? Why are you losing your fiance? Like, are you happy? Like, why are you drinking all the time? Like, you're in this stranger's house at like 1 a.m. Like, everything is just like crumbling. And he asks me what I want. And the literal only thing that I could utter was just like, I want to know God. If God's real, then like, fine. Like, I want to know him then because something's happening here. And like, I've seen all of these signs, and like, God is like kind of at the center of everything that's happening in my life right now. So, like, either I'm crazy or you're crazy. And I don't really deep down think you're crazy. I do think you're being manipulated and brainwashed, but there's got to be something here, right? So, like, yeah, I want to know God if God is real. And instantly, right after that moment, I feel like my vocal cords stopped working. And I'm like mute. Like I can't utter words at this point. Like my whole like just I can't talk. I don't know what it's like someone was like strangling me without the pain. Like I just couldn't open my mouth. And he's asking me questions and I'm starting to cry. And he's asking me these questions and I'm realizing I can't talk, but the girl that drove me there is sitting next to him, right? Across from me. And like I'm crying and I can't talk and answer his questions, but then she starts answering the questions for me. Like he's talking to me and I'm thinking of what I want to say to him in response, but I can't say it. And then she says the thing I want to say. And I'm like watching this like how is she saying the things I want to say? She's like communicating for me literally exactly what I'm thinking. And I'm watching this like transpire in front of me. Like she's just answering the questions for me. Like why can't I talk? Like why am I being silenced right now? And then I just realized that something kind of like unique and different is happening right in front of me right now. Like why have I lost the ability to speak? And how am I watching this play out right in front of me? Um, like how are my thoughts being like transferred to her? And I'm listening and watching the conversation that I want to be having play out right in front of me. And then like suddenly out of nowhere, and to this day, is like so wild. I feel and there's no one next to me. I feel to the right of me just this like growing, almost like, and the best way I can describe it is like when you hold two magnets, like the negative sides against each other, and you feel that like
Hmm.
weird energetic ball tension in the middle.
Hmm.
I started to feel that growing next to me on my right side. And it wasn't just like a feeling, it was like a knowing, and like a like love, right? And it just kept getting stronger and stronger and stronger as I'm watching the conversation play out in front of me. And I'm starting to realize that um this must be God, like answering what I had just said. It's almost like it was like, "Oh, you want to know me? Okay. Well, here I am then." And yeah, I just felt this crazy force pushing against me. Just this absolute knowing, like, here I am. I'm proving to you now that I'm here, I'm real, and that I love you. And I'm being overwhelmed with this feeling of just the presence of God for the first time ever in my life. Like, I'm not seeing him or anything, it's not like I'm not visibly seeing it, but I know for a fact that he's sitting next to me, and that he is like wrapping himself around me completely on my right side. And it's just in an instant I was like, "Oh my God, like, you're real." Like, every question I've ever had, like, because I was an agnostic my whole life, and I was always like, I won't believe it until I see it, but I don't really like not believe it either. I just need proof. And he was just like, "Here's your proof." Like, from that point forward, that was when I was saved. I knew that God was real. There was no denying it. I wasn't crazy. Maybe I was hitting a low point, but like, I knew I was not checked out in my head.
Mhm.
So I'm feeling this, and I'm knowing for a fact now at this point that God has just made himself known to me because I wanted to know him.
And it's that crazy Jesus that
I'm bawling at this point, and it's like an immediate release of my vocal cords. And I just kept saying, "Thank you." And I grabbed his hand in front of me, and I just said, "Thank you." And I'm just crying, and I'm just saying, "Thank you." Just saying, "Thank you, thank you, thank you," over and over again. And I just realized, like, I just had an encounter with the God of the universe. I just had every question answered in an instant. Like, my whole entire life, never knew a single thing. Thought I did, never knew a single thing. And then in one single minute, he shows up and changes everything. Like, I don't have to lie about being Christian now because, like, God's real. Why would I have to pretend anymore? I don't have to. Um, so I remember going home later on that night, and you're sleeping in the bedroom, and I went onto the couch because I didn't want to wake you. And the very next day, I went into the bedroom, woke you up, and I mean, you remember this, but I just told you about my experience, and I wanted to pray for like the first time, like, really pray, not like fake it, not lie, because I knew that he was listening now. I knew that I wasn't just talking to the void. I knew that I wasn't talking to the walls or the ceiling. Like, I knew there was a God who was listening to everything that I had to say, and I just wanted to say it. And I didn't feel any kind of shame for talking out loud, for praying. I didn't feel it. I didn't think I was crazy. Um, yeah, and then from that point forward, I just I don't know. I just was a Christian and believed in God. And I even called him later on that day. I don't want to say his name, but I called him later on that day, and I was just like, "Dude, like, I got to tell you about what I just experienced." And he thought it was great. He used to be a pastor. He's not a pastor anymore. Kind of had a backslide, and I don't think he's ever gone back. But It's interesting to me that he had a backslide and he didn't, want to pastor anymore. But like that night, he helped lead me to Christ. And, you know, I know one thing about him because I worked with him for a little while is that he always seemed to kind of struggle with not knowing what he wanted to be doing in his life. Kind of bounced around a lot of different things, like bounced around jobs, this and that. But like, man, like he was a part of one of the biggest moments of my entire life. And I'm just like, um, I wish he would come back around and, you know, find his purpose again. Because even though he feels like he's purposeless, or at least when I knew him, he did, like he had the most purpose in the world right there in that night. So very, very grateful for him. And also very grateful for my friend that I worked with, who I think is trying to maybe did. I haven't we fell out of touch, but I think she's trying to get back into her faith a little bit, but very grateful for what she did too. Because these two people who I don't really talk to anymore had like tremendous impact on my life. So, anyways,
And then we got married.
and then we got married.
Romans 8:27 says, "He who searches our hearts knows the mind of the Spirit, because the Spirit intercedes for God's people in accordance with the will of God." Yeah, and then I mean, you've been a completely new person since then.
Yeah,
And I mean, we could probably keep talking. I'm afraid the cameras are going to die. I don't know where we're at.
yeah. It looks like we have 20 minutes left.
We have 20 minutes. Okay, that's good. So we got married, and our wedding was so Christ-centered, and like you wanted it to be.
Yeah, dude. And my vows.
Mm.
I remember writing the vows, and I remember when I was writing them. I actually wrote them the night before our wedding. So I was having a hard time figuring out what to write. And I wrote them that night when I was in the other room,
Mhm.
sleeping in the other room. Um, I was like going through paper. Like I didn't know what to do. I didn't want to write it on my phone. I wanted to be like traditional and write it on paper. Um, I was struggling. And then I realized I was struggling because there was this weird thing in my mind that I was battling with. Like I'm gonna have people that heard me say you're brainwashed for being Christian. I'm gonna have people sitting in the audience now hearing me talk that
Mm.
way. And I realized that was like a weird thing that I was going through when I was writing my vows. Like now are they all gonna think that I'm brainwashed and I'm the crazy one? Um, but then I was just like, I don't care because I know the truth. So then I just wrote my vows. And man, I remember them too. And I'm just it's pretty cool that we have been through so much, and looking back, you wouldn't have known it then, but how, and it's a cliche, but it's a cliche for a reason because God is everywhere. His fingerprints are on everything.
Mm.
Like in the darkest moments of your life, he's right there. Um in the happiest moments of your life, he's right there. In the moments when you feel like you're alone, like you're not. So looking back, it's like, wow, there he is, just present. It just took a lot of getting over yourself and, you know, finally, finally, like asking the question, like, who are you? Where are you? Like, I want you. And that's what did it for me. He answered me in
It
that
says,
moment.
"Seek and you will find."
Yeah. So your cry from the kitchen floor, you know,
Yeah.
when I was asked, "What do you want?" That was my answer. Was my cry from the kitchen floor. So yeah, it was pretty wild. And now we're blessed with a daughter, and I love
Yeah.
her so much.
We have like a family, and our relationship is like good, like pure
It's
and
real.
real and
It's
healthy.
healthy. I mean, we have our, little moments here and
We're
there.
still being sanctified.
Like, who doesn't, right?
Yeah.
But
We're only how many years in a marriage?
what is it, like 4?
Man, I'm so bad with years. Ever
I'm
since
bad
I
with
turned
years because we've
30.
known each other since like
Ever since I turned 30, I'm
yeah,
bad with
we
years.
were
We
like
got married.
tadpoles when we knew each other.
We got married in 23, April 25th,
Okay.
which by the way
Yeah.
is my grandmom's wedding date as well. April 25th, 23.
Oh, so 3
So
years.
going on
3 years.
3 years.
Yeah. And I've
Wow.
never felt better.
Mm.
Um,
Free from alcoholism.
recently,
Mm-hmm.
but yes. Um, you know, that's something that I worked through for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I felt convicted about it a lot, and I never really gave it up. And that was a struggle that I had. I mean, even while we were doing Heaven and Healing,
Mm-hmm.
I was still struggling through alcoholism.
Stronghold.
It was a stronghold in my life. It really was. And I tried my best to uh, talk myself into, well, I tried my best to convince myself that it's not a problem.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have to convince yourself that it's not a problem, it
Yeah.
probably is. And I remember the one night I got really drunk and I came home, and man, it was bad. And I couldn't even hide it from you, and I hid it a lot from you. Um, there were some nights even when we were doing Heaven and Healing, then I was behind the camera and I was drunk. And I know you don't know that, but yeah, there were times. And I've since repented, and I've you know gone through all that stuff already. Um, but it's crazy because I would actually find myself saying, because I would get really sick, or I would start to feel like something was wrong or off because I was drinking. Um, and I would actually find myself saying, God, if you take this crappy sickness away, because I know it's from alcohol, then I'll quit tomorrow. And it would go away, and then tomorrow I would go get another bottle. So alcohol was really hard for me. It took a lot. Um, you know, it took a lot from me. And say all that to say it's no longer a problem. I have been delivered from alcoholism, and all it really took was just really, really realizing that it doesn't have to be mine if I don't want it. Like, I can claim alcoholism as me, like I can claim that I'm an alcoholic, or I can say I'm not an alcoholic. Jesus, take this from me. I don't want it anymore. I don't want to be an alcoholic. I don't identify as an alcoholic. I'm a son of God. I don't want this in my life anymore. Take it. And this was at the Breakers Conference. And I remember literally falling to my knees, looking up at the giant cross on the screen. This is the moment when all the lights were down. And we were just in a moment of just worship all around the entire arena. And I just kept on saying, take it from me. I don't want it. It's yours. You can have it. I don't want it anymore. And I'm crying and I'm crying and I'm crying and I feel it breaking off. And I just realized like it's done.
Mm.
It's like finished. I don't need it anymore. And I don't have it anymore. It's not in me anymore. It's completely gone. And I just started thanking God. I just kept saying, thank you, Jesus. And I'm crying and I'm just laughing now because I just like, I'm feeling joy. I'm feeling joy, this burden of like wanting a drink, this burden of like I have to hide it now, all the heaviness that I felt constantly surrounding it. Like I don't drive up the road anymore past that liquor store and even have a thought.
Mm.
Before, I would drive by
Like
and be like, yeah, like I have to put the blinders up. Oh no, like it's got
I could
such a
turn, I could turn, I
pull
could
on
turn, I
me,
could
like
turn.
I'm
Yeah.
tethered to it, and the tether is attached everywhere I go. And every time I turn away, it's like boing boing, like I could feel it like pulling back.
Mm-hmm.
And now I like you wouldn't do this, but I could watch you down a bottle and I'd just be like, why are you doing that? That's so
Mm.
stupid. Like it's completely broken
Yeah.
off of me. So alcohol is not a part of my life anymore. And I'm fine with that. I'm
Yeah.
actually totally cool with
Me
it.
too.
Come on now.
It's amazing. I
Yeah.
was about to cry. I wish we had more time, but we don't.
Yeah.
But we can continue this conversation soon.
I mean,
We'll,
we can just do heaven and healing stuff together now.
yeah, I mean, we could do we'll do a part two, like probably record one this weekend and then put out the following week for
Yeah, that sounds good.
Thanksgiving. I just, so let's just like end here. I just want to say you've changed so much, and it's literally only God. Like the things you say now and the life you live, like, you know, the fights we used to get into because like you're out late drinking. Now I'm like, you'll be like, oh, I'll be home at 7. Now it's like 8 p.m. and you're not home because you're out,
Hmm.
like doing ministry.
Yeah.
Like, and it's just like,
The like little arguments we get into now are like, babe, I really want to go out and film this
I
ministry
really
event,
want to film a baptism this
and I
weekend.
want
Are
to
you cool with it? And I'm like,
I want to go pray with my boys.
yeah, I want to go. Literally, like, I want to go pray with the boys. Like,
Yeah.
our lives are so different, and I, so much has changed in like just a couple years. And like, you go back to when we met when we were like 14, 15, like all that stuff we went through, all the ways we tried to fix things and the ways we tried to heal, like Jesus fixed it,
Yeah.
and he's still working it out. And I'm just so grateful. I'm so thankful you're my husband. I'm so thankful it was you, and that when I said like if he's not mine, God take him, that instead God said, well, actually he's mine. So I'm going to just save him instead and we could both have him. Like, I'm just so thankful that's what happened, and that we have a family, and that we get to be the first ones in both our sides, like just the curse breakers, like the generational front runners that get to pass down promise instead of pain. And I love doing life with you, and I love obsessing over Jesus together. I feel like sometimes I just like will just break down randomly and you see me do this. I'm like, I can't believe we're crazy Jesus people. It's so great. Like, that's how I feel. Like, what would you say is the biggest difference between, obviously having the Holy Spirit now, but like what's the biggest difference between who Mike was BC and who Mike is now?
Um, I think if I could pick one thing, really hard to kind of pinpoint, but if I could just choose one thing, it would be that Mike before was sad and with no purpose. And like the seeking was exhausting. It's
Mm.
so exhausting. Like trying to find your reason and trying to find your purpose. And I just never knew what I was doing. I was having an identity crisis. Like, who am I now? Who am I this month? And then the next month would come. Like, it's exhausting and it's sad. Um, and it was depressing. But now, um, everything I do has purpose attached to it. Like, I'm not even remotely lost anymore. I mean, I have my like little normal everyday life struggles. Who doesn't? Um, but now everything that I do has a real meaning. And I mean, I say it all the time, like jokingly, like I press buttons for the kingdom. But like, that's what I do. Like, every single thing that I do is now to glorify Jesus and to just try and show people in any capacity that there's an actual God who loves you, and you don't have to go through all the stuff, and he'll let you. Um, but you don't have to go through the worst things. You don't have to hit the bottom. Like, just look up, and even if you feel crazy, and sometimes it looks crazy, just say, God, I want to know you. Give up yourself and stop trying to be in control of everything.
I was gonna say, like, well, if you could, okay, so if you could say something to like everyone from our past, everyone from your past, what would it be? People that are like, oh my gosh, they're both crazy Jesus people. I can't, they're both, like, not
Hmm.
just Angela. Maybe they think we're crazy, or maybe they're kind of curious. I don't know. Who knows? Only God knows
Well,
their
I
heart.
used to think it was crazy too. And I never thought my life would be what it is today. Um, some people feel secure, I think. Some people feel secure in where they are currently, and I did too, until I didn't. So, for me, what I would say to anybody who's listening that feels like they know the deal but doesn't know Jesus, you probably don't know the deal as much as you think you do. But if you want to live a great life with purpose, if you feel like you're missing a purpose, if there's if it feels like there's a piece missing, that piece is probably Jesus. And I think like if you just go for it, like he's gonna show up.
Yeah.
Um, I never saw myself even talking like this.
Yeah.
But my life is only what it is because of his grace and because I um wanted to die to myself. And now I'm here.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And I would also say, pick this up. Like, read it. Open the New Testament. Read the book of John. Just read it. The worst thing that happens is you wasted your time. And the best thing that happens is that you gain eternity. Like, read the book of John. Just read it.
yeah.
This is alive. This is living. This is alive, and it will get into you if you get into it. I
Oh,
love
and
you.
also put down the marijuana. Stop smoking weed. It's not doing a single thing for you. Um, it's just like kind of keeping you where you are. And like most people, we don't always want to stay where we are. We want to keep going like
Hmm.
up. So stop smoking weed. Get rid of your drugs. It's kind of dumb. And I'm not saying that like in a mean way. I'm saying that in a loving way. Marijuana is ruining more than you think. So just
Yeah.
consider that.
Yeah. Well, I love you.
I love you
I
too.
love Jesus. I love our family. I love heaven and healing. I love all the lives that he has changed through this platform. And I know he's going to do it, not just with my testimony, but with your testimony and with our testimony for his glory. So thank you for finally sharing. I'm glad you did. And I know it's going to bless so many people. Bless me. I love you.
Love you too.
Thank you all for watching. Please leave a comment if this blessed you. You've been waiting to hear from Mike for a long time. So let us know down below what you think. We are going to do more videos like this. Praise the Lord. You can find us both on Instagram. I'm Angela Marie Scafidi. He's Michael J. Scafidi. And finally, if you really are blessed by heaven and healing, please consider partnering with the ministry. You can become a monthly partner. Or you can just sow a one-time financial contribution. But if you really believe in our kingdom work, not only in what I'm doing, leading people out of the new age, but in what we are doing together as a couple, a kingdom couple, advancing the kingdom, me leading people to Christ, and now Mike leading people to Christ, then you coming alongside us to support that financially, it makes a huge difference. It allows us the time to even put these testimonies forth. So I would just ask you to prayerfully consider doing that. Otherwise, keep us in your prayers. And finally, I'm here every Thursday night on the channel at 6 p.m. Central Time. So make sure you come see me if you haven't already. Subscribe, and we will see you next time. Thank you for watching.